Chapter 3591. Refining Treasures. For a moment, they felt that Lin Ling was shrouded in layers of mystery. Alright, this auction is over. Thank you for your kindness. God Miao's true disciple thanks everyone. We'll meet again in 100 years. Ignoring everyone's confusion, the old man smiled and looked at everyone. Alright, thank you, senior. Everyone stood up. They were extremely happy because they had also obtained a lot of treasures in this auction. Of course, if there was an exception, it would be Kagura and the other two. Not only had they returned empty-handed, but they had also become the butt of everyone's jokes. Kagura's eyes were red as she strode away, shouting at Lin Ling, you've got guts. I'll remember this. Furthermore, you dared to steal the Sky Conduct Academy's treasures. Just wait for the Sky Conduct Academy's anger. Lin Ling shrugged indifferently. He really didn't know Kagura, but she seemed to have a lot of opinions about him. Since that was the case, he would just play with her. I'll be waiting. Lin Ling replied without backing down. Then, he left with young Master Yao and the others. This Lin Ling is really crazy. He even dared to provoke the academy head. Today's divine weapon auction was completely dominated by him. Hee, how interesting. As expected of the person who broke the Divine Tower's record. Everyone left one after another, but they were still whispering. At the bottom of the Sky Sword Tower, several figures were quietly waiting there. Their eyes were red, as if they were looking for their father's murderer. The person in the lead was Duan Wuxian. He had been kicked out of the auction. How could he let such a shameful thing go so easily? Therefore, he was waiting for Lin Ling to come out. He wanted to teach Lin Ling a lesson. While waiting for Lin Ling, he overheard the conversations of the people around him and learned that Du Chou and the others had also suffered a great loss. Damn it, it seems that not only me, but even Du Chou and the others have suffered a loss. Moreover, these people seem to be Lin Ling's enemies. This Lin Ling is really ruthless to his enemies. Duan Wuxian sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard the news. Brother Wuxian, this Lin Ling is only in the Saint Realm. No matter how strong he is not a match for us on the divine list. I am not afraid of him, but I am afraid of breaking the rules. What's there to be afraid of? If the sky collapses, I'll hold it up. If I don't teach him a lesson today, I won't be able to vent my anger. Brother Wuxian's words are enough. Wait a moment, I'll be the first to teach him a lesson. Not long after, a platform slowly floated down from the sky like a lotus leaf. On top of it was Lin Ling and the others. Moreover, Lin Ling and the others were in a good mood, chatting and laughing. When Duan Wuxian saw Lin Ling's carefree appearance, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. Get ready. Although Duan Wuxian did not dare to kill Lin Ling in Heaven's Sword City, crippling Lin Ling was not a big mistake. Lin Ling, you are very strong, and I admire you very much. However, I like to attack people with ability the most, and you are one of them. Go. Go. When the platform finally landed on the ground, Duan Wuxian shouted domineeringly and led the others toward Lin Ling. Excitement appeared on their faces instantly. Even their blood was boiling at this moment. However, when they were about to approach the platform, more people appeared on the side of the platform. They were actually the guards of Heaven's Sword City. Young Master Lin, right? The city lord has been waiting for a long time. When he heard that the auction was over, he asked us to welcome young Master Lin as a host. Go. In that case, please lead the way. Lin Ling immediately followed the guards. Not far away, Duan Wuxian stopped abruptly. He was dumbfounded, and then his forehead was full of cold sweat. The guards? If he had attacked before, the consequences would have been unimaginable. After all, he had provoked the city lord's mansion. If the city lord was furious and killed him, the Duan clan would not provoke the city lord of Heaven's Sword City for him. My grandfather, that Lin Ling actually asked the guards to come personally? Fortunately, we did not attack. Otherwise, even if we did not die, we would have lost a layer of skin. Brother Wujan, are you trying to harm us? This Lin Ling is so close to the city lord. If you attack him here, isn't that slapping the city lord's face? Looks like our beautiful dream is going to turn into a daydream. The people behind Duan Wujan said one by one, as if they had just survived a disaster. Bang! Duan Wujan's feet stomped heavily on the ground, and his face was full of veins. He gritted his teeth and said, Lin Ling, despicable, despicable. He had been driven out of the auction and thought that he could wash away the humiliation, but who knew that he could only watch Lin Ling leave safely in the end, and he could not do anything. And this feeling was the most irritating. It was as if a breath was stuck in his throat, and he could not go up, nor could he go down. In fact, there were a few people who had the same thoughts as him. Not far away, Du Qiu, Wu Zun, Kagura, and the others were trembling with anger. They also wanted to find trouble with Lin Ling, but Lin Ling had been taken away by the city lord, and their wishful thinking had all been for naught. They even thought that Lin Ling had done it on purpose, and that after humiliating them, he had swaggered away in front of them. However, they had wronged Lin Ling. Lin Ling did not know about all of this, and he had gone to the city lord's mansion as a guest. This was because the city lord of the Sky Sword City had asked Song Chiri of the Snow Wind City. After knowing everything, he paid more attention to Lin Ling. Not only did he pay for all the royal crystals that Lin Ling needed to buy the treasures, but he also called Lin Ling a brother. After all, he was also a member of the Snow Wind Academy, and he knew what the Snow Wind Supreme Token represented. Moreover, he had a good relationship with Song Chiri, so through the conversation, he could vaguely feel that Song Chiri respected Lin Ling very much. This meant that Lin Ling's backer was even more terrifying than Song Chiri. That night, Lin Ling also stayed in the city lord's mansion and divided the treasures. At present, everyone had obtained treasures, so they were in a very good mood and wanted to refine those treasures. Lin Ling had obtained 3 treasures. 1. The Millennium Chronicles Pill. 2. The Heart of Evil. 3. The Moonlight Sacred Water. Among these 3 treasures, the Moonlight Sacred Water was indeed the most precious treasure, as it could increase one's soul strength. If Lin Ling's soul strength increased, not only would the power of the Order of Wisdom increase, but even the talent fusion transformation would also increase its power. As for the Millennium Chronicles Pill, Lin Ling had placed great importance on it. This was because he was now at the 10th stage of the Sage Realm, and he was only 1 stage away from breaking through. Therefore, he had to prepare the treasures to break through in advance. After all, as a former martial ancestor, he naturally knew how difficult it was to break through to the martial ancestor realm. It could even be said that there was only a slim chance of survival. Even if Lin Ling were to recultivate, he was not 100% confident that he could break through successfully. Now that he had the divine pill, his chances of breaking through had increased by 30%. Don't underestimate this 30%, as it could save a life at a critical moment. Chapter 3592. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio 17,000 Steps. I'll swallow this pill first. One day in the future, this pill will definitely take effect. If I fail to break through, then I can only say that I have bad luck. Lin Ling took out the 1,000 Years History pill and looked at it carefully. He found that there were many mysterious runes on the surface of the pill, and they were constantly changing. Then, he swallowed the pill as well. Soon, a strange feeling rose in his dantian, but when Lin Ling wanted to examine it carefully, the feeling disappeared. Then, Lin Ling took out the second treasure, the evil heart, and looked at it carefully. The evil heart was actually a heart, and it was stored in a crystal box. But the strange thing was that the heart continued to beat as if it was still alive. What a strong evil chi! However, the evil chi hidden in Lin Ling's body was not much weaker than the evil heart, so he could feel the evil chi within the evil chi. The evil chi is monstrous. Such a treasure is rarely seen in 100 years. I hope it can improve my world-swallowing beast's talent again. Then, Lin Ling smiled. His world-swallowing beast was famous for its evil qi. It was immortal. Other than swallowing its own kind, if it wanted to improve, it had to rely on its evil qi. This was also the reason why Lin Ling bought Ominous Heart. Qi. Qi. Lin Ling's body was surrounded by endless black sludge. It wrapped around the crystal box, crushed the box, and wrapped the evil heart. Rumble. The moment the evil heart rushed out of the crystal box, an ancient and strong majestic aura spread out. It was like a big demon from the era of the gods. However, before this big demon could do anything, it was immediately swallowed by the world-swallowing beast. And within the world-swallowing beast, the evil heart was constantly being refined. Looking at the room again, Lin Ling had disappeared. The whole room was filled with black sludge, which gave people a very scary feeling. Time passed quietly. After an unknown amount of time, a terrifying and ominous aura spread out. Then, a pair of cold eyes appeared in the endless mud. It was as if they could see through the universe as they looked indifferently in front of them. If someone was here and met those eyes, their martial heart would definitely crumble. The reason for all this was because the ferocious aura in that pair of eyes was too terrifying and too dense. Chaos Eye? At the same time, a puzzled voice floated out from the mud. Last time, in the world inside the mirror, I came to the tomb of the vicious creature. I used the vicious aura to revive. The world-swallowing beast seemed to have become true chaos. This time, the Eye of Chaos was born. It seems that the final body of the realm-swallowing beast must be chaos. The Eye of Chaos is really powerful. It has only just opened its eyes, but it can actually use its ferocious aura to affect the martial heart of others. I wonder how powerful it will be if it becomes the real chaos. After a long time, the sludge began to flow like water and gradually turned into a man whose entire body was pitch black. Moreover, the pitch black color was constantly disappearing, and in the end, it turned into Lin Ling. The realm-swallowing beast's talent has reached level 3. Its immortality and indestructibility are even more powerful. Even its defense and devouring power have greatly increased. Lin Ling stood there quietly. Finally, he grinned. With the ferocious aura, his strength had increased a lot this time. Moonlight Divine Water. After that, a jade bottle appeared in Lin Ling's hand. He gently opened it, and suddenly, bright moonlight shot out from the bottle. The previously pitch-black room instantly became somewhat holy and pure. What a mysterious power. Lin Ling held the bottle with both hands and let the moonlight cover his body. He also closed his eyes slightly. At the same time, a warm feeling spread throughout his body. The pure white moonlight covered Lin Ling's body, making him suddenly become extremely holy. Previously, Lin Ling seemed to have turned into a dark demonic creature. Now, he was as white as a god. The two huge differences were like the difference between heaven and earth. At the same time, the transparent liquid in the emerald jade bottle was also slowly decreasing. As for Lin Ling's soul power, it was increasing crazily. 14,000 steps. 15,000 steps. 16,000 steps. 17,000 steps. At the same time, in the sky of the final world, the wind and clouds were rolling. Countless experts frowned. To be able to change the sky of the final world, this was definitely a powerful force. However, there were also countless experts in the final world. So, they used all kinds of methods to investigate, but to no avail. On the contrary, some of the top experts in the martial god realm changed their expressions. This was because only they could sense that this was a majestic soul power. To be able to change the sky with just soul power, what kind of limit had this soul power reached? Could it be that Miao Shen's true inheritance has given birth to a golden mark boundary god? Some experts in the martial god realm mumbled to themselves. Golden mark was a symbol. It was as if it represented the same age as the sun and the moon. It was a higher level than a boundary god and only appeared in the era of the gods. This was because the saying of golden mark came from the era of the gods. Mark was a saying that surpassed robe. Perhaps, a dead god has been resurrected. Some experts in the martial god realm said solemnly. Although there were only 4 great gods now, no one dared to look down on the gods of the era of the gods. Those who were in the divine realm could use the sealing method to resurrect and return to the land of the 9 prefectures. It seems that as more and more world wills awaken, many of the gods of the past have been resurrected. More experts said solemnly. No one knew that the power that caused the sky to change wasn't from the gods, but from Lin Ling's soul power. At this moment, in a room in the Heaven Sword City, the moonlight gradually disappeared and everything returned to tranquility. In the darkness, Lin Ling finally opened his eyes. His eyes were blood red, as if a sleeping lion had awakened. If someone was here and looked into Lin Ling's eyes, that gaze was enough to scare them to death. But soon, that pair of eyes disappeared and everything returned to tranquility. In the darkness, Lin Ling smiled. The moonlight divine water is really extraordinary. It actually increased my soul power by 3,000 levels. You must know that 10,000 levels of soul power is a dividing line. Currently, I have 17,000 levels of soul power, just 3,000 more levels to reach 20,000. When I reach 20,000 levels, I wonder what kind of power I will have. Without a doubt, with the help of the treasures in the auction, Lin Ling's strength had not only increased, but also strengthened his foundation. Soon after, Lin Ling sat down cross-legged and stabilized his realm. He was one step closer to entering the martial ancestor realm. This made Lin Ling look forward to it. But at this time, a voice transmission arrived. Lin Ling, Wind Snow Academy has decided to let you participate in the Blackstone Empire's mission and kill 10 different species people. After completing the mission, you will become the number 1 of the 3 divine halls. Your friends, Yu, Xian Yuan Gu, Young Master Yao, and Majin Tianzi will enter Wind Snow Academy. The voice came from the vice principal, which was also the mission assigned by Wind Snow Academy. Chapter 3593. Watch the Sword. Lin Ling, congratulations. This mission is jointly participated by the 10 great academies, and it's extremely simple. You just have to go through the motions. The vice principal's voice sounded out again. Thank you, vice principal. Lin Ling hurriedly thanked him. This mission not only meant that Lin Ling had become the number 1 in the Divine 3 Hall, it also meant that young Master Yao and the others had successfully transferred to another academy. And this was also the request that Lin Ling had made not long ago. Unknowingly, the sky turned white, and the night quietly retreated. Lin Ling walked over to the window and pushed it open. A wisp of fragrant air immediately assaulted his face. The morning air was very clean and comfortable. Looking into the distance, one could see even further than usual. Furthermore, it was just early in the morning, so the Heaven Sword City was still somewhat quiet. This kind of atmosphere was rare, and Lin Ling also enjoyed it a little. Looking at the quiet streets and the bright sky of the early morning sun, Lin Ling suddenly thought of his previous life. At that time, he was still studying and working hard for his future. Unfortunately, his results could only be considered average, so in the future, he should also be a very ordinary existence. Then, according to the life of an ordinary person, he would get married, have 1 or 2 cute children, work hard for his family, and watch his children slowly grow up. At that time, his hair would be white, and he would slowly grow old while holding his wife's hand. This was also the path of life that mortals could never change. But now, everything had changed. Lin Ling's eyes flickered, and the corner of his mouth revealed an excited smile. Yes, everything had changed. He was not a mortal, and he would not grow old. He had his own wife and children, his own country, his own sect, and everything else. He had even more hope of becoming a god. At this moment, the urge to become stronger in Lin Ling's heart suddenly became stronger. After standing quietly for a moment, not long after, Yu and the others also woke up, so Lin Ling also went to welcome them. In front of the entrance of the city lord's mansion, everyone was standing there with happy smiles on their faces. Among them, young Master Yao, Majin Tianzi, Yu Yu, and the others were all like this. It was obvious that their strength had increased greatly during this period of cultivation. This was especially true for young Master Yao and Majin Tianzi, who had obtained divine artifacts. They were the most excited. This time, they planned to break through the divine ranking celestial stairway and become stronger experts. Lin Ling, with your strength, you should be able to enter the stairway to heaven. At the thought of this, young Master Yao looked at Lin Ling and said, Divine list? It was not the first time Lin Ling had heard of it, but he was not very familiar with the God list. Yes, the God ranking stairway to heaven is another path that allows you to meet the gods. According to legend, if you reach the peak of the stairway to heaven, you can meet the gods and even become a trial taker of the God ranking. Young Demon Lord explained. A trial taker of the gods. In the future, he will become the strongest person under the gods. He will also be the strongest warrior under the gods. However, it is very difficult to become a trial taker. Only the strongest warriors that appear once in a million years are qualified to become a trial taker. The other way to become a trial taker is to enter the celestial stairway. The celestial stairway will have a ranking every 100 years. The first person can also become a trial taker. It is so difficult to become a trial taker of the gods. Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes lit up. He was already a trial taker of the gods. However, he had never thought that others would have to go through so many hardships in order to become a trial taker of the gods. This is a secret. Not many people know about it. This is because my family knew the first person 100 years ago. That is why I know this secret. Young Master Yao smiled and said, Of course, even if you can't become a trial taker of the gods, you can still know your strength through the stairway to heaven on the divine list. You can also broaden your horizons and see what the experts of the final world are like. The stairway to heaven is very valuable. If you can make it to the top 100, I believe that forces like the Flying Dragon organization will not be a match for you. Moreover, if you make it to the top, you can also become a sacred knight of the gods. This is a very honorable identity. In the 9 states, even the 9 state celestial emperors have to give you face. Young Master Yao continued to speak. Lin Ling was also interested in the divine list. After all, warriors could not build a car behind closed doors. Only by coming into contact with a wider world would they be able to go further. He guessed that the former Luli Empress and martial god Wen Tian must have walked on the stairway to heaven on the divine list. Therefore, Lin Ling would definitely not miss out on it. The stairway to heaven on the divine list has recorded 500 experts. With Brother Lin's strength, it shouldn't be difficult for you to enter the divine list. At this moment, a smile suddenly sounded out. A refined middle-aged man walked out of the mansion's door. It was the city lord of Heaven Sword City. Lin Ling and the others immediately greeted him politely. The city lord of Heaven Sword City was an expert. His strength was even stronger than the Flying Dragon organization and Fu Hang Manor. Therefore, Lin Ling and the others gave him face. I am the city lord of Heaven Sword City. I specialize in swords. I see that Brother Lin is carrying a lot of swords. If Brother Lin doesn't mind, I can take a look at those swords for you. At this moment, the refined middle-aged man laughed again. In fact, he wanted to help Lin Ling's sword increase in strength. In this way, he would also help Lin Ling, making Lin Ling feel grateful to him and owe him a favor. The city lord of Heaven Sword City is the #1 heavenly sword in the world. To be able to obtain the city lord's help is a great opportunity. Young Demon Master and the others were immediately happy for Lin Ling. They knew the strength of the city lord of Heaven Sword City. However, Lin Ling was in a difficult position. Brother Lin, you don't have to mind. I'm just doing a favor. The refined middle-aged man thought that Lin Ling was embarrassed and was afraid that he would owe him too much, so he continued to smile. Lin Ling sighed in his heart. He had no choice but to unlock the true inheritance nether sword and hand it over. The refined middle-aged man smiled faintly. After receiving it, he carefully examined it. However, his expression instantly changed. This sword is extraordinary. It is a true divine artifact. When these words were said, everyone was shocked. Only Lin Ling was used to it. He had long known how powerful the true inheritance nether sword was. Originally, I wanted to help you make up for the flaws of the sword. However, it seems that this sword is simply flawless. There are no flaws at all. The refined middle-aged man immediately said awkwardly. He had wanted to help Lin Ling as a senior, but in the end, he hadn't helped at all. After that, he also understood why Lin Ling didn't rush to buy the divine artifacts at the auction. It turned out that Lin Ling's sword was of a higher grade than those divine artifacts. It had probably reached the level of a 9th grade divine artifact. Then let's take a look at the other one. The city lord smiled awkwardly and pointed at another one. Young Demon Master and the others were also very embarrassed. They knew that the city lord was unable to get out of the embarrassing situation. Fortunately, Lin Ling still had another one. Another one? Lin Ling's eyes flashed. This was the sword of a god. He was even more embarrassed and said, "Let's forget about this sword. It's fine. I'm the #1 heavenly sword. As long as it's related to swords, I can more or less increase the potential of the sword. No matter how ordinary this sword is, in my hands, I can make it even more dazzling." The city lord waved his hand and said. Chapter 3594. The city lord was shocked. Lin Ling, let the senior take a look. Young monster lord immediately advised. Lin Ling shook his head helplessly and had no choice but to remove the tyrannical song sword from his back. The city lord took it with one hand and looked at the sword hilt carefully. He immediately said, "From the looks of the sword hilt, it's quite old. Unfortunately, it's been corroded too much by time. I'm afraid it can only unleash 60% of the sword's power. But it doesn't matter, I'll unleash all of the sword's potential." When he said this, the city lord was extremely confident. In his opinion, he finally had a chance to help Lin Ling. Clang! He pulled out the sword, but the moment he unsheathed it, killing intent surged. And this was only half of the sword's aura. Thud thud thud. The city lord took 3 steps back. He could not hold the sword in his hand tightly. Then, he frantically closed the sword. After the sword was sheathed again, the killing intent from before instantly disappeared. Then, the city lord stared at Lin Ling. "Fuck, this guy's swords are more powerful than the last." Young monster lord and the others also stared at Lin Ling. They thought that the city lord was definitely qualified to investigate the second sword, but who knew that the second sword was even more terrifying? They stared at the ground and saw that the city lord's 3 footprints were left on the hard white jade stone. What the fuck? The city lord of Sky Sword City was a genuine expert. His strength was probably comparable to the martial gods. Even he was forced to retreat. Could this sword be an existence that surpassed divine artifacts? Brother Lin, this. After the city lord recovered from his shock, he walked back with a bitter smile on his face. However, he was also shocked. A sword that could intimidate him was definitely extraordinary. He was also a person who loved swords. How could he not be moved by such a sword? However, he knew that Lin Ling had shown him the sword because he trusted him. Therefore, he quickly held the sword with both hands and returned it to Lin Ling. "Brother Lin, I've embarrassed myself in front of you." Then, the city lord said awkwardly. He had wanted to give Lin Ling some pointers, but he had been slapped in the face by a sword. If Lin Ling had not been watching, he would have dug a hole and crawled into it. "It's fine." Lin Ling smiled faintly. He did not mention a single word about the previous matter. At least he could let the city lord off the stage. The city lord immediately looked at Lin Ling gratefully and didn't mention the embarrassing matter from before. Lin Ling, these are the Heavenly Heart Energy Storage Pills that His Excellency has gifted you. There are 9 bottles in total, and they are all precious divine pills. At this moment, an old man walked over from afar with a smile. Lin Ling was puzzled. Who was this person? The city lord was the same. However, he sensed that the old man was not weak at all. My lord is Miao Di. The old man arrived in front of Lin Ling and bowed as he spoke. His words caused Lin Ling to understand, but he was still a bit surprised. He didn't understand why Emperor Miao would suddenly give him such a precious pill. Back in the Godspan Tower, Her Excellency Grand Monarch Miao bet on you and won quite a few godstones. That's why she asked me to give you these godstones in return. The old man knew the doubts in Lin Ling's heart, so he immediately said respectfully. I see. Lin Ling immediately nodded and then asked, what are the effects of these Heavenly Heart Energy Storage Pills? It's used to restore world essence. The old man said honestly. Heavenly Heart Energy Storage Pills. The city lord's expression suddenly changed. Qi comes from the heart. Could it be one of those legendary pills? He immediately sucked in a breath of cold air because this pill was extremely rare and precious. It could instantly restore a martial artist's exhausted world essence within 10 breaths of time. This was because this pill didn't restore world essence by absorbing external energy, nor did it come from the power of the pill. Instead, it formed a cloud of energy in the human body, allowing the human body to produce world essence on its own. It was extremely mysterious. And in the entire final world, it was said that only one person could refine such a pill. It was precisely because of this that this pill had a price but no market. This Lin Ling's face was really big. The city lord couldn't help but look at Lin Ling solemnly. To have Emperor Miao give him a divine pill, let alone Lin Ling, even among the 36 city lords, there weren't many who could do such a thing. Then he thought of City Lord Song and that mysterious sword of Lin Ling's from before. Without a doubt, Lin Ling's weight in his heart skyrocketed. He was even glad that he was able to know such a rising star. How about this, leave 3 bottles and return the rest to Emperor Miao. Just say that I, Lin Ling, thank her. Lin Ling pondered for a moment and said politely. He had 5 dantians and a powerful physical body. Generally speaking, it was rare for him to exhaust his world essence. Therefore, although this divine pill was precious, it wasn't of much use to him. The reason why he left 3 bottles was to give them to young Monster Master, Prince Mo Jin, and Yu. This won't do. If Emperor Miao finds out, she will think that I took the divine pill for myself. Hearing this, the old man's expression changed and his face was full of begging. Lin Ling was speechless. In fact, this pill was really useless to him. He suggested, Senior, do you have any royal crystals on you? Just give me some royal crystals. This way, you can go back and report to your superiors. The current Lin Ling was penniless. If he wanted to break through to the saint stage, he definitely didn't have enough royal crystals on him. Royal crystals, yes, there are exactly 100 billion royal crystals. The old man immediately said. 9 bottles of pills, I took 3 bottles. Why don't you give me 60 billion royal crystals for the remaining 6 bottles? Lin Ling said. How can I do that? 100 billion royal crystals is fine. The old man immediately became anxious. However, Lin Ling had already made up his mind. The main reason was that he didn't want to owe Emperor Miao too much, so he accepted 60 billion royal crystals. 60 billion royal crystals was a huge sum of money to him. Young friend. Seeing Lin Ling's determined look, the old man sighed helplessly and then left. However, before he left, he asked Lin Ling to visit Emperor Miao if he had time. Lin Ling casually agreed to this. Next, he bid farewell to the Sky Sword City Lord before leaving with young Demon Master and the others. This person is truly extraordinary. He will definitely become a great person in the future. Looking at Lin Ling's departing figure, the Sky Sword City Lord muttered to himself. Especially when he thought of the sword with monstrous demonic aura, his heart began to rumble. With his strength, it was difficult for him to suppress that sword, but Lin Ling was able to carry it with him. This showed how mysterious Lin Ling was. Lin Ling left with young Demon Master and the others. On the way, he also distributed the pills to young Demon Master and the others. Lin Ling, although we are going to the Snow Wind Academy, we have many things to account for in the E-Garden, so let's split up for now. At this time, young Demon Master suddenly looked at Lin Ling and said. Lin Ling immediately agreed, but warned, you guys should be careful because you are transferring hospitals. From a certain point of view, you have embarrassed the E-Garden. I'm afraid that the E-Garden will make things difficult for you. Also, be careful of Du Qiu. Wu Zun and Duan Wuzhan lost to us in the Divine Tower and lost face at the auction. I'm afraid they will attack you, especially Duan Wuzhan. He is an expert on the divine list and his strength is somewhat extraordinary. Okay. Don't worry, they can't touch us. Chapter 3595. Flower World. They chatted for a while before Lin Ling left with Yu Yu and the others. Savage Sword, Elder Do, we're going to complete the trial mission of the academy. You should go back first. Lin Ling said to Savage Sword and the others on the way. Yes. The two of them nodded, but they were unwilling to give up. As Lin Ling became stronger, it was difficult for them to protect Lin Ling. This made them feel useless. However, they couldn't be blamed. Their talents were limited and their potential had been stimulated. They could only rely on increasing their cultivation realm. However, in the final world, without talent, it was difficult to survive by relying on one's cultivation realm. Savage Sword, we have to become stronger. Yes, young master takes care of us. However, seeing young master protect us instead, I feel very uneasy. But what can we do? Let's go find City Governor Tsang. He should have a way. Although he can't help us reach young master's level, at least he can help us increase our strength and help young master do things within our power. Okay. The two of them chatted for a while before flying towards Snow City. Lin Ling didn't return to Snow City. Instead, he was heading towards the Blackstone Empire. The Blackstone Empire was an extremely ancient country in the east border. There were countless experts and it was one of the top few realms in the east border. However, to the experts from the final world, they were obviously as weak as ants. The mission this time was obviously not to kill the martial artists from the Blackstone Empire. Instead, it was to kill some mutant experts that appeared in the Blackstone Empire. These mutant experts were born 10 years ago. No one knew where they came from. However, they were extremely powerful. With the Blackstone Empire as the center, they had built a large number of sects that radiated to other realms. The Academy's mission was to eradicate these sections. On the other hand, Lin Ling's mission was much simpler. He only needed to kill 10 mutant powerhouses. Brother Ling, what are mutant experts? Yu Yu listened to Lin Ling's constant explanation and couldn't help but be a little curious. I don't know either. But to be able to be called deviants by the final world, their path of cultivation should be different from ours. Lin Ling shook his head. Without seeing the variant race martial artist with his own eyes, he couldn't jump to conclusions. The three of them quickly left the 9 provinces and appeared in the void of the universe. Originally, with Lin Ling's strength, he would have arrived in less than 3 days. However, Yu Yu and the others did not have Lin Ling's speed and freakish physique. Hence, Lin Ling slowed down and accompanied them. The three of them walked forward leisurely, as if they were on a scenic tour. As they passed by one realm after another, they were also experiencing the different characteristics of each realm. Lin Ling also felt a little emotional. In the universe, there were countless realms. There were all kinds of worlds, each with their own unique characteristics. Just like his Wuxia world. That place was not good at martial arts and dominated by technology. However, in the ancient Wuxia world, martial arts were extremely powerful. But in the end, those ancient legends disappeared. Once, Lin Ling also heard that the most ancient legends of Wuxia were actually the strongest gods in the era of gods. Lin Ling wasn't too sure about this rumor because in his memory, the great gods of Wuxia were great gods like Pangu and Nuwa. Taking a step back, it was the great gods like Shenong and Fuxi. In Lin Ling's memory, these great gods were the Almighty who created the world. They were beyond the scope of martial arts. Shaking his head, Lin Ling sighed. The world of martial arts was really vast and boundless. Li Xiaoyao was so powerful in the past, but he still couldn't travel through the universe. From this, it could be seen how mysterious the universe was. Brother Ling, that place is so beautiful. At this time, Xian Yuan Gu suddenly shouted in surprise, interrupting Lin Ling's contemplation. Lin Ling looked over and saw a colorful realm with hundreds of blooming flowers in front of him. Lin Ling checked and immediately knew that this realm was called the Sea of Flowers realm. It was one of the most beautiful realms in the East Border. Many experts from the East Border gathered here. There were even many experts from the 9 continents here. This dazzling and colorful world was very suitable for experts to enter the world and comprehend. However, what made Lin Ling happy was that the Sea of Flowers realm was already very close to the Blackstone Empire. At this moment, Lin Ling brought Yu Yu and the others to the Sea of Flowers realm. Looking around, this realm was also extremely vast and boundless, and the plants were also very exuberant. As soon as they landed, not far away, many warriors looked over with puzzled eyes. However, in order to avoid shocking the world, Lin Ling hid his cultivation. What a handsome man and woman. Those people couldn't see through Lin Ling and the others' cultivation, but they could see that Lin Ling and the others were very otherworldly, as elegant as immortals. This made them involuntarily take another look at Lin Ling and the others. Especially some young men and women, they looked at Lin Ling and the others with a look of amazement. Lin Ling and the others naturally noticed those gazes, but they ignored them and casually walked with Yu Yu and the others. Although Yu Yu and the others were strong, they were originally women, so they liked flowers. The 2 girls ran around in the world of hundreds of flowers and played extremely happily. Lin Ling looked at the world full of vitality and suddenly understood. At this moment, his illusory god world was also slowly improving. As he walked, it was as if he saw flowers bloom and wilt. Interesting little guy. In the distance, an old man was walking with a large number of disciples. Suddenly, he saw Lin Ling and walked towards Lin Ling. Young friend, your talent is outstanding, and you also have some enlightenment in the world of flowers. You're really amazing. Not long after, the old man appeared not far away from Lin Ling and smiled. Lin Ling slowly opened his eyes and smiled. I'm just imagining things occasionally. Haha. Hearing this, the old man immediately laughed loudly. Imagining things? He didn't think so. However, the people behind him narrowed their eyes. It was because they thought that since the ancestor of a world took the initiative to speak with that youth should be extremely excited. However, who would have expected that the youth's reaction would be extremely calm, not excited, nor did he show any admiration. One had to know that the old man was one of the strongest in the Sea of Flowers. In fact, the old man was also a little depressed. He had seen Lin Ling and wanted to give him some advice, but when he asked, Lin Ling said that he was just imagining things. Because of this, he didn't know what to say even if he wanted to. However, as expected of a prominent figure in the Sea of Flowers, he smiled and said, Young friend, although the Sea of Flowers is beautiful, there will always be a time when it wilts. Flowers bloom and wilt, life, old age, illness, and death. This is the unchanging law of the world. Those who can see through it have seen through life and death. Lin Ling was instantly stunned. He knew that the old man wanted to give him some advice, and he couldn't help but laugh in his heart. With his strength, he was 100 times stronger than the old man. In terms of the grand Tao of the universe, life, old age, illness, and death, he saw through it more thoroughly than the old man. Of course, he knew that the old man didn't have any ill intentions, and he just appreciated the young man's talent. Chapter 3596. Not blooming for a lifetime, only for a moment of youth. The old man was stunned when he heard this. The disciples behind him were even more furious. This young man didn't know what was good for him. How dare he refute the patriarch's advice? He's still wet behind the ears and wants to pretend that he knows everything. He probably doesn't know what the great Tao is and what life, old age, sickness, and death are. What do you know? A woman who looked to be in her 20s couldn't help but shout. Don't be rude. However, the old man waved his hand and smiled. Patriarch, I can't stand how he pretends to know when he doesn't. The woman frowned and was unwilling to give up. Martial arts, no two people's martial arts are the same. Everyone has their own views. If 100 people look at a flower, there will be 100 different views. The old man smiled kindly, which surprised Lin Ling. Although the old man wasn't strong, he was open-minded. Little friend, look over there, that's a moment of youth. It's an anomaly in the sea of flowers world. You said that the process of blooming is life. Unfortunately, they don't have life because they never bloom. Therefore, there are exceptions to everything. The old man smiled faintly. Lin Ling followed the old man's finger and saw that there were green grass at the foot of the mountain. The grass was green, but it didn't fit in with the hundreds of flowers around it because there were no flowers on the grass. And there were hundreds of flowers blooming all around. The moment of youth was indeed an anomaly. Moment of youth, what a good name. Lin Ling muttered to himself. That's why I said that there are exceptions to everything. The great path, the laws, and the rules that you think of are not the only ones at some point in time. Something else will also appear. Seeing that Lin Ling was finally deep in thought, the elder felt an inexplicable sense of pride in his heart. He wanted to give Lin Ling some pointers before, but Lin Ling replied to him with profound answers. These answers were so perfect that he couldn't refute them. Therefore, he finally found a chance to suppress Lin Ling's spirit. Now you know how powerful the patriarch is. He only knows how to put on an act. When it comes to life, can he compare to the patriarch? What a fame-seeking fellow. He said that the process of blooming is life, but if the splendor of a moment never blooms, how can there be life? He slapped his own face. Said one of the disciples behind the patriarch. His words were filled with disdain for Lin Ling. Of course, Lin Ling didn't mind. He smiled faintly and nodded at the ancestor. This also made the old man secretly satisfied. This child was worth teaching. Brother Ling, let's go. Just when the old man thought that Lin Ling would come to acknowledge him as his master, Yu Yu's voice suddenly came from afar. When he saw this, Lin Ling planned to leave as well. However, he'd just taken a step when he suddenly turned around to look at the old man and said indifferently, "It doesn't blossom for a lifetime, only for a moment of youth. This is its life. There are thousands of Daos, so why should they be the same?" Leaving behind these words, Lin Ling turned around and left. The old man was stunned. This young man actually didn't have a master. Moreover, he gave another profound answer, which made him feel as if he had been enlightened. However, the disciple behind him was furious. What a stubborn young man. Even now, he still dares to talk back to the patriarch. He doesn't know how high the sky is. Just then, hundreds of flowers suddenly bloomed on a green grass field from afar. It was beautiful and fragrant. Every single flower was colorful. The moment they bloomed, everything around them seemed to have turned into an illusion. Auspicious beasts were galloping in midair and rainbows were hanging in the sky. It was beautiful. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it. The old man's pupils violently quivered. The splendor of a moment seemed to have bloomed. He's been in the realm of flowers for tens of thousands of years, and this was the first time he's seen the splendor of a moment bloom. To know that in his knowledge, there were no flowers in the splendor of a moment. It doesn't blossom for a lifetime, only for a moment of youth. This is its life. There are thousands of Daos, so why should they be the same? Suddenly, he remembered what Lin Ling said. It doesn't blossom for a lifetime, only for a moment of youth. Everyone's martial Tao and life were different. Why should the splendor of a moment be the same as other flowers? It was just like humans. Why should everyone's life be the same? Perhaps that was what Lin Ling wanted to say. Sir, why are the flowers blooming? Thinking of this, the old man looked into the distance and said in disbelief. However, the distance was silent. 3 figures had already walked into the distance. The old man suddenly realized that he had met an expert today. In front of him, the patriarch was actually a child. Senior, please enlighten me. Plop. The old man hurriedly knelt down, scaring the disciples behind him. If I want it to bloom, it will bloom. Finally, Lin Ling's indifferent voice came from afar. It was a soft sentence, but it carried a domineering aura. It doesn't blossom for a lifetime, only for a moment of youth. Although the youth is short, like a moth flying into a flame, it is beautiful, and that is enough. This is its unique life, and also the path it has chosen. Then, a mysterious sentence was transmitted into the old man's mind. The old man's body trembled. He stared at the beautiful sea of flowers in the distance. Suddenly, an ancient power came from his body. This power was unprecedented. It surged into his mind and spread throughout his body. He had broken through. The disciples behind him were all dumbfounded. They had heard of it long ago. 30 years of spring and autumn, cold and summer. Once you achieve Tao, you will become an immortal. This meant that sometimes, thousands of years of hard work were not as good as a sentence from the expert. They had always thought that this was just a legend. However, they actually encountered it today, and it happened to their master. Plop. Everyone knelt down, especially the girl who looked down on Lin Ling. At this moment, her face was red and she was extremely regretful. She knew that she had missed a great opportunity. Unfortunately, the 3 people in front of her had disappeared without a trace. As for the old man, he raised his head. His face was full of excitement. When he thought of taking the mysterious person as his disciple, he immediately felt ashamed. Luckily, the expert did not mind it at all. Meanwhile, Lin Ling continued to move forward with Yu. To him, the cultivators of the flower realm had limited talents, thus they would not be able to progress further on the path of martial arts. The only thing they could focus on was their comprehension of martial arts. Although it was not as important as one's talent, they could still become an expert after comprehending the Tao. Previously, even though the old man was trying to teach him a lesson, his attitude was quite friendly. As such, Lin Ling decided to give him some guidance. As for how much the old man could comprehend, it would depend on his own capabilities. Soon after, an ancient city appeared in front of him. Lin Ling glanced at the sky and decided not to continue on his journey. He decided to stay in the city that night. Inside an inn, Lin Ling yelled at the waiter, "Give me the best wine and meat." Even though his strength had improved tremendously, reaching the half-martial progenitor realm, he still retained his old habits. "Sure thing." The waiter immediately shouted in high spirits. When the wine and meat were served, Lin Ling immediately devoured the food and began to eat with Yu and the others. Chapter 3597. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio Peeping. Night fell without anyone noticing. Everything was silent. In the guest room of the inn, Lin Ling looked at the 2 beauties on the bed and smiled. He sat down cross-legged and started to cultivate. However, not long after he started cultivating, a sound came from outside the window. Although it was very soft, Lin Ling's soul power was strong and he could easily detect it. Then, a mysterious eye appeared in the void. It glanced at Lin Ling's guest room and then disappeared. Lin Ling frowned instantly. Peeping on him? How bold of him. At the same time, Yu and the rest woke up. It had to be said that the person who peeped on them was very crude. Even Yu and the rest could not hide from him. Brother Ling. Yu and the rest were women after all. Although they did not see anything, they still felt very uncomfortable when they were peeped on. Let's go and take a look. Lin Ling stood up. How dare he peep on his wife? That guy must be tired of living. At the same time, his spiritual strength sensed that the eye had appeared in another room. After a brief investigation, a colorless and odorless fragrance permeated the air. The person in the room immediately fainted. Subsequently, the void was opened, and two figures appeared. They wrapped the person on the bed and left under the cover of the night. Those two seemed to be kidnapping someone. Lin Ling then told Yu and the rest what he had seen. Yu and the rest frowned and looked at Lin Ling. They wanted to see what Lin Ling would do. Let's go and take a look. Lin Ling's lips curled into a cold smile because he sensed a familiar aura from the two people from before. Will it be dangerous? Yu asked worriedly. Don't worry. Not to mention the Flower Sea boundary, even in the East boundary, there are not many people who can hurt us. Moreover, those people are just small thieves. Lin Ling smiled calmly. Hearing that, Yu and Xian Yuan Gu were relieved. They then followed Lin Ling out of the inn. After leaving, they realized that they had worried too much. That was because those two people were very slow. They caught up with them easily. Hee, after catching that little bitch, we can blackmail them. That's right. Young master, what a good idea. It's rare for us to come to the east boundary. We can even blackmail some treasures. After this, we can immediately rush to the Blackstone Empire and assist the higher-ups in seizing the treasures. The two people were talking, their voices sounding arrogant. Perhaps they thought that no one would be able to detect them. Unfortunately, not far away. Lin Ling, Yu and the rest, Yu and Xian Yuan Gu, and followed them step by step. They were also going to the Blackstone Empire? And there were treasures. Lin Ling's lips curled into a smile as he began to look forward to it. The two of them turned left and right and finally landed in a quiet courtyard. Did you catch them? As soon as they landed, a low voice came from the small courtyard. Young master, we caught them. Were they discovered? Young master, we are assassins of the Flying Dragon organization. How could we be discovered so easily? That's good. Bring that little bitch here and inform her father to prepare to exchange treasures for her. In the darkness, the conversation continued. In the end, there were even a few complacent sneers. Since when did the Flying Dragon organization do such dirty things as kidnapping people? Outside the courtyard, Lin Ling looked at Yu and the rest and couldn't help but laugh. Then, he kicked the door open and walked in casually. He then sneered, instead of sleeping in the middle of the night, you guys want to steal people. You guys are really in the mood. The Flying Dragon organization, Godly Escort Mansion, and Fu Hang Manor had all attacked Lin Ling in the past. However, the Godly Escort Mansion was almost uprooted by Lin Ling, and their vitality was greatly damaged. In the end, they begged Lin Ling for mercy. Although Fu Hang Manor was fine, they also paid a large sum of money and swore never to provoke Lin Ling again. Only the Flying Dragon organization still didn't reply. This also meant that the Flying Dragon organization didn't intend to compromise with Lin Ling. The entrance of Lin Ling and the rest immediately silenced the small courtyard. Then, in the darkness, an angry roar sounded, 2 pieces of trash. You can't do anything right. Young master, it's our fault. 2 voices rang out at the same time. Then, the small courtyard lit up, and 3 figures appeared in the courtyard. 2 of them were standing, and the one in the middle was sitting. The person sitting was very young, and his face was very pale. He looked like a scholar who didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. However, Lin Ling knew that this person wasn't a scholar, but an assassin. The seemingly powerless scholar just wanted to numb people and make them careless. This was also the characteristic of an assassin. The moment they didn't make a move, they would never reveal their killing intent. Who are you? Why have you come here in the middle of the night? The scholar smiled and looked at Lin Ling. First, he was surprised by Yu Yu and the rest's beauty, and then he asked politely. To kill you. Lin Ling went straight to the point. You really know how to joke. The scholar smiled again, and a white jade fan appeared in his hand. He gently waved it. Perhaps you don't know where we came from. Tell him who we are. The two beside him immediately sneered. We are assassins from the Flying Dragon organization. They obviously wanted to use the Flying Dragon organization to intimidate Lin Ling and the rest. Moreover, even if Lin Ling and the rest didn't kill them, they wouldn't let Lin Ling go, because only the dead would keep secrets. Do you think I have the time to joke with you? Lin Ling shook his head. However, if you weren't from the Flying Dragon organization, I might have let you go. Unfortunately, you're from the Flying Dragon organization, so it's hard for you not to die. Attack. As soon as Lin Ling finished speaking, the scholar shouted sternly. His reaction was really terrifying. He realized that Lin Ling wasn't fooled, so he immediately attacked first to gain the upper hand. The silent darkness suddenly spread out like a tide. In the darkness, all of one's senses would disappear, and it was extremely terrifying. Unfortunately, they were facing Lin Ling. Lin Ling didn't even make a move, but Xian Yuangu and Yu Yu made a move. Yu Yu punched into the darkness, and then the sound of bones breaking was heard. A figure was sent flying and fell to the ground, dying instantly. What? The scholar's expression changed drastically. So strong? At the same time, a dazzling light appeared, and a page of scripture pressed down from the sky, smashing another person into pieces. Moreover, Yu Yu and Xian Yuangu didn't stop. They disappeared into the darkness, and then a large number of figures were sent flying. It turned out that there were many assassins hidden in this small courtyard. These assassins were very powerful and could kill people from thousands of miles away. Unfortunately, they met Lin Ling and the rest from the final world. Plop. Looking at the assassins dying one after another, the scholar knew that he had kicked an iron plate. He immediately knelt down. Senior, please spare my life, please spare my life. Chapter 3598. Guessing. Lin Ling was very close to the scholar. With the scholar's strength, he could have used a fatal attack and turned the tables. But for some reason, the scholar did not dare to do so. It was as if the young man standing in front of him was even more terrifying than the god of assassins. Then, the scholar seemed to have thought of something and said anxiously, "Oh right, the experts of the Flying Dragon organization are rushing to the Blackstone Empire. I heard that there are treasures there. Senior, I'll tell you the secret of the Flying Dragon organization. Can you spare my life?" Sigh. Lin Ling tilted his head and looked at him indifferently. He smiled sarcastically. Do you think I'm an idiot? You want me to spare your life with this bullshit information? Sigh. Senior, spare my life. That's all I know. Sigh. The scholar kept kowtowing. It's really embarrassing to be an assassin like you. Also, don't disturb other people's sleep in the middle of the night, especially by peeping. Sigh. Lin Ling raised his foot and stomped lightly. With a boom, the whole courtyard shook. The scholar was stomped into meat paste by Lin Ling. His whole body was buried under the ground, reaching a depth of 100 meters. Then, Lin Ling looked around. With a wave of his right hand, a colorful fire appeared and burned everything. All the corpses had been incinerated, but what was shocking was that the other things in the small courtyard were unscathed. Not even a single blade of grass was affected. It was a flame that could burn everything. Brother Ling, look. At this time, Xian Yuanji's voice came. There was a black cloth bag in the corner of the room. After opening it, a girl about 18 or 19 years old could be seen sleeping there. The girl looked delicate and pretty. Her long eyelashes were fluttering. This should be the girl they kidnapped. Lin Ling nodded indifferently. He did not care about the girl. What he cared about was what the scholar had said before. It seemed that many assassins of the Flying Dragon organization had gathered in the Blackstone Empire for a treasure. Lin Ling was curious about the treasure that could make assassins gather. Moreover, with Lin Ling's trump cards and Yu Yu's sword of swallowing heaven's fortune, Lin Ling dared to fight the god of assassins of the Flying Dragon organization. Then, Lin Ling lightly waved his arm, and a surge of realm energy rushed toward the young girl, easily curing her poison. Lin Ling at his level, unless it was a god's poison, realm god's poison, ordinary realm poison. This realm was the ultimate world's ultimate. Where am I? The woman gently opened her eyes. Her eyes were a little blank, and then her pretty face changed. What do you want? Let me tell you, my father is from the Yu family. If you dare to mess around, he will not let you go. She looked at Lin Ling and the others warily and quietly retreated. Seeing this, Yu Yu and the others immediately smiled. Little sister, you don't have to be too nervous. We are not the ones who kidnapped you, but the ones who saved you. You show us? The girl looked at Yu Yu show us. Her vigilance was not as strong as before. Yu Yu show us. Maybe Yu Yu show us was not a bad person. The girl bowed. Thank you, benefactors. If Qing Air fell into the hands of those people, she would be better off dead. By the way, where are those people from before? They are all dead. Killed by my husband. Xianyuan Gu smiled and walked towards the woman. She held the woman's hand and walked over. Moreover, they are from the Flying Dragon organization. Maybe they have some conflicts with your Yu family. That's why they attacked you. Yu Yu show us the Flying Dragon organization. Qing Er's expression changed drastically when she heard Yu Yu's words. Then, she looked at Lin Ling in surprise. She knew that the members of the Flying Dragon organization were all very powerful, but this handsome young man had killed them all. This seemed a little impossible. Lin Ling nodded and did not explain anything. He said indifferently, you go back first and leave this troublesome place. Okay. Qing Air was also eager to leave. However, she was grateful that Lin Ling Xiu S had saved her life. She bowed to Lin Ling Xiu S again. I am from the Yu family. Our Yu family is one of the top families in this area. I will tell my father about this. After saying that, Qing hurriedly left the small courtyard. Upon hearing Qing Er's words, Lin Ling frowned but didn't say much. He led Yu Yu and the rest out of the courtyard. Brother Ling, what's wrong? Yu Yu Xiu S noticed Lin Ling Xiu S actions and asked curiously. This girl called Qing Air seems to know about the Flying Dragon organization. This means that the Flying Dragon organization also exists in this realm. Therefore, even if the Yu family knew that it was the Flying Dragon organization who kidnapped Qing Air, they would not dare to do anything. However, if the Yu family leader is brave enough, he will seek revenge from the Flying Dragon organization, even if he has to sacrifice the entire Yu family. If the master of the Yu family is an indecisive person, he will definitely suspect that we are the ones who kidnapped Qing Er. After all, we have killed all the people who kidnapped Qing Er. Dead men tell no tales. Lin Ling Xiu S told Xiu S his guess. If it's true, then the Yu family is too shameless. Xian Yuan Guer Xiu S frowned. They had saved Qing Air, but they were misunderstood as the kidnappers. Anyone would be unhappy. Qing Air looks inexperienced. I don't think she is that kind of person. Yu Yu Xiu S said. She is innocent, so I don't think so. However, the Yu family might do the same. All right. Lin Ling Xiu S smiled faintly, however, we don't have to worry about such a small family. Perhaps when they come to us, we will have already left. Moreover, this is just my guess. Things might not be like this. Let's go. All right. Lin Ling Xiu's, after all, he had been in the world for many years. He had considered everything before doing anything. Immediately, Lin Ling Xiu's and Yu Xiu's left the small courtyard. Their destination was the Blackstone Empire. However, just as Lin Ling Xiu's had guessed, when Qing Er returned to the Yu family, the whole family was in turmoil. Qing Er, where have you been for the whole night? A burly middle-aged man looked at Qing Er worriedly. Qing Er did not hide anything and told him everything that had happened. The Flying Dragon Organization? Master Black Dragon? The burly middle-aged man was furious. Of course, he knew the Flying Dragon Organization. He also knew who the leader of the Flying Dragon Organization was. He did not expect that the Flying Dragon Organization would dare to touch his daughter. Family leader, there is something fishy about this. However, at this time, an old man frowned and said. This old man had a high status in the Yu family. He was the family leader's brother and Qing Er's uncle. Big brother, what do you think? The family leader looked at the old man immediately. Chapter 3599. Selling her body to bury her father. Uncle, I don't think they are that kind of people. Hearing this, Qing Er frowned. Qing Er, did you see them attack? The old man suddenly asked. Qing Er shook her head. She really didn't see anything. Have you seen the corpses of the people from the Flying Dragon Organization? The old man asked again. Qing Er shook her head again. Seeing this, the old man was finally certain. Looks like they are the ones who kidnapped Qing Er. These people are really vicious. They are trying to sow discord between our huge Yu family and the Flying Dragon Organization. His words made Qing Er anxious. She had a feeling that Lin Ling and the others were not the ones who kidnapped her. However, the elder did not wait for her to speak. He had already ordered the Yu family, send out all the experts of the Yu family. Capture those despicable people and make an example out of them. Yes. Everyone accepted the order and left. The entire city was gradually in an uproar. After Lin Ling and the others walked out of the small courtyard, it was not long before dawn. The streets gradually became lively, and all kinds of hawkers set up stalls on both sides of the street. Most of the items they sold were flowers. However, these flowers had extraordinary uses as well. Some could be used as medicine, some could be used to make clothes, and some could be used to fill the stomach. This was an eye-opener for Lin Ling and the others. Along the way, Lin Ling also bought some rare flowers for medicinal purposes. As for Yu and the others, they bought even more. For example, some flowers that could be maintained for a year without withering. This was a fatal attraction to most girls. The three of them chatted as they walked. It was as if they had returned to the sacred land of the rainforest. However, not long after, a group of people appeared in front of them. They were gathered together and pointing at them. Xian Yuan Gu's beautiful eyes lit up, and she pulled Lin Ling into the crowd. Lin Ling couldn't help but secretly feel helpless. Watching a show was also a woman's nature. After arriving at the crowd, Lin Ling discovered a young girl of about 14 or 15 years old kneeling on the ground. The young girl was wearing mourning clothes, and her long hair covered her face. In front of her was a wooden sign with the words, "Selling myself to bury my father," written on it. In front of the wooden sign lay a corpse wrapped in a straw mat. This scene caused Lin Ling to be momentarily stunned. Selling her body to bury her father? This kind of plot had only appeared on TV in his previous life. Who would have thought that he, Lin Ling, would encounter it? Sure enough, the longer one lived, the more they would encounter all sorts of things. Lin Ling's interest was piqued. When he looked at Yu and the others again, they didn't look interested. Instead, they looked at him sympathetically. This caused Lin Ling to also look at the young girl. The young girl's body was frail, and her head was lowered. However, Lin Ling could still sense a sense of sorrow from her body. It seemed that this selling her body to bury her father was true. Suddenly, Lin Ling's eyes lit up. There was a strange aura hidden within the girl's body. Although this aura was dim, it was abnormally tenacious. When Lin Ling's soul force approached, it actually sensed Lin Ling's soul force and resisted it. Interesting. Lin Ling's lips curled into a smile. His soul force was extremely strong. The young girl had no martial strength, but the energy within her body was able to resist it. This showed that this young girl was not simple. TSK, everyone says that 18 years old is brittle. Looking at your appearance, you are only 14 years old. However, your figure is not bad. Come, raise your head and let me see. Your looks are not bad. I will buy you. I will pay you any price. At this time, a skinny young man dressed like a rich young master laughed. The crowd immediately began to jeer. The young girl kept her head down, so they were curious about her appearance. After all, her figure was not bad. Of course, there were exceptions to everything. Some girls had good figures, but their looks were ugly. Therefore, the crowd was not stupid enough to not pay without checking the goods. Raise your head and take a look. If you don't raise your head, who will buy it? Another person said. If someone is willing to bury my father, I will raise my head. But who knew that the young girl was extremely stubborn? Her voice was as clear as yellow jade, and she still refused to raise her head to speak. At this time, the crowd also began to curse. Obviously, they did not want to be cheated. Your voice is not bad. Raise your head and let me see. As long as you can catch my eye, I will buy you even if it is 100 taels of silver. The skinny young man said again. 50 taels of silver. I will buy it. But at this time, Lin Ling interrupted him and said calmly. His words made the young girl's delicate body tremble. She seemed to be excited. Then, she stood up and looked at Lin Ling. However, when she lifted her long hair, a peerless face appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Fair skin and delicate facial features. Overall, she looked exceptionally beautiful. She exuded a faint aura that gave people a sense of tranquility. Moreover, under the morning sun, she gave people a sense of holiness. Even Lin Ling could not help but be surprised. Previously, because of the mysterious energy in the young girl, he did not check the young girl's face. He did not expect her to be so beautiful. He even thought that the young girl was hiding her face and that she might have a pig's face. In reality, the others thought so too. Wow, she is so beautiful. She is already devastatingly beautiful at such a young age. How beautiful will she be when she grows up? Beautiful, beautiful. I want this little beauty. 100 taels of silver. 200 taels. 250 taels. Shut up, all of you. I will pay 500 taels. Let's see who can be richer than me. The skinny young man was drooling as he roared angrily. Do you think you are the only one who is rich? I will pay 800 taels. An old man with a walking stick also roared. Everyone looked at him in shock. He was so old yet he was still a romantic. He was full of energy. What are you looking at? I have money. I can do whatever I want. The old man smiled proudly. He looked at the young girl and said with a smile, Little beauty, from now on, you belong to me, Mr. Liu. You will live a good life and have no worries for the rest of your life. Bullshit, you old fart. You don't even know if you can get hard. How dare you snatch my woman? The skinny young man naturally did not dare to show weakness. 1,000 taels of silver. Lin Ling watched from the side as the crowd competed. He was expressionless and did not bid. If the young girl chose the one with more money, then such a person was not worth his help. Although the young girl might not have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of her life if she followed other people, but if she followed Lin Ling, she could achieve great things and have an endless lifespan. This was the difference between mortals and gods. Whether she would miss this opportunity in the end would depend on the young girl's own choice. Yu and the rest did not speak. They watched quietly. Although they did not know why Lin Ling bid, even if Lin Ling wanted to marry a concubine, they would not care. In an instant, the price rose and exceeded everyone's expectations. One had to know that before the young girl raised her head, most of the people were watching a good show. Only Lin Ling bid. However, when they raised their heads and saw the young girl's peerless beauty, everyone stretched their necks like ducks and shouted crazily. In the end, the price had reached 5,000 taels of silver. Chapter 3600. Principles. However, the price was still rising. The two people who were still bidding were the old man and the skinny young man. Fuck, you want to play with me? Don't think that I can't see through you. In fact, you're just a poor bastard. You don't even have 10 taels of silver. When the price reached 6,000 taels, the old man finally got angry. Huh, it's none of your business. Now it's 6,000 taels. Are you going to follow me or not? If you're not going to follow me, then get lost. How dare a poor bastard fight with me over a woman? Look at yourself before you piss off. The skinny young man said casually. You're looking for death. Men, beat him to death. The old man was so angry that his face turned red. He suddenly roared. A few warriors rushed out from behind him. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they pounced on the skinny young man. Huh, you dare to fight with me in my territory? Don't you know that I'm the young master of the Yu family? However, who knew that the skinny young man was not afraid at all? Instead, he said casually. After he finished speaking, another man walked out from behind him. However, he was stronger. In a few moves, he smashed the old man to the ground. Yu family. The old man's face changed. This family was the tyrant of the city. He never thought that the skinny young man he met would be the young master of the Yu family. Put on. He immediately knelt down and kowtowed. I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I hope that young master you will be magnanimous and not take it to heart. Beat him. The skinny young man did not give him any face. He shouted coldly and then looked at the young girl with a smile. Little beauty, can you go back with me now? Don't worry, I will bury your father properly. From now on, you will follow me and you will have no worries for the rest of your life. Yu family. Looks like the little beauty belongs to the Yu family. Sigh, it's good to have a big family behind you. Sigh. The surrounding people said enviously. Since the Yu family had taken action, who would dare to fight with them? Seeing that the situation had finally calmed down, the young girl was no longer as panicked. However, when the skinny young man's hand reached out, she dodged and then went behind Lin Ling. Young master, he has already bought me for 50 taels of silver. From now on, I belong to his family. Sigh. After hiding behind Lin Ling, the young girl said. What? I offered 6,000 taels of silver and you? Sigh. Seeing this, the skinny young man's eyes narrowed. Was he playing with him? I never said that I wanted to bid. I only said that I would follow whoever buried my father for me. Therefore, everything is first come, first served. It was he who bought me first. The young girl's voice was very firm. Her words caused a smile to appear on the corners of Lin Ling's mouth. It seems that this young girl is a person with principles. She is worthy of my help. Yu and Xianyuan Gu looked at each other and laughed. Furthermore, the man was holding the two women's hands. Could it be that the two women were already taken? Very good. I admire people with integrity. But do you think he'll take you just because you want to? Let me tell you, I'm from the Yu family. The skinny young man laughed. He looked at the young girl coldly. He believed that as long as they weren't idiots, they would give face to the Yu family. The young girl looked at Lin Ling. Uncle, will you take me? It's pointless for you to ask, because he doesn't even dare to nod his head, let alone speak. The skinny young man said confidently. Of course. If you're willing, I won't give you up. Lin Ling opened his mouth. The skinny young man, who was full of confidence, almost fell to the ground. Lin Ling really dared to take her. The skinny young man roared and stared at Lin Ling. Do you know who I am? Do you want to die? Smash him to death. The strong man from before immediately jumped at Lin Ling. This was a strong man from the Yu family. Ordinary people couldn't stop him. The young girl shouted subconsciously, Benefactor, be careful. Get lost. However, Lin Ling let out a low growl. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Puff. The strong man spat out a mouthful of blood. He fell to the ground and fainted. Lin Ling was still holding back. Otherwise, he could have turned into an idiot with just one look. Everyone was frightened. The skinny young man's eyes widened. What was going on? Why didn't he punch? Why did the strong man of the Yu family faint? Lin Ling walked forward step by step. His eyes were cold. Puff. The skinny young man fell to the ground. His pants were wet and the smell of urine drifted out. He kept waving his hands. Don't come over. I'm the young master of the Yu family. If you dare to touch me, the Yu family won't let you go. Trash. Lin Ling looked down at the skinny young man. With a kick, the skinny young man flew out like a kite. Seeing Lin Ling's power with her own eyes, the young girl was scared silly. This uncle is not an ordinary person. Yu looked at the young girl dotingly. Not an ordinary person? The young girl's body trembled. Could this uncle be a strong martial artist? If she followed the skinny young man, she could live a carefree life. But she missed out on a wider sky. But if she followed this uncle, her world would change. She could fly higher and see more of the world. She couldn't help but smile. Luckily, she stuck to her principles. Otherwise, she would regret it for the rest of her life. Lin Ling walked back and looked at the young girl. He smiled. Little girl, are you willing to follow us? If you don't, we can give you some money. It's enough for you to live a carefree life. I'm willing. I'm willing. The young girl hurriedly said. She was afraid that she would be chased away by Lin Ling. All right. What's your name? Lin Ling nodded and asked again. My name is Zhang Xiaoning. The young girl said nervously. Xiaoning. That's a good name. From today onwards, you will be in charge of taking care of them. Can you do it? Lin Ling smiled and pointed at Yu and company. Benefactor, I can do it. Xiaoning was born poor. This is not difficult for Xiaoning. All right. You will be in charge of taking care of their daily lives. Stay by their side. After we leave this place, I will teach you some martial arts for self-defense. Also, I can tell you that you have good talent. This talent is called the ultimate desolate body. In the future, you will definitely be above others. Benefactor, I don't wish to be above others. I only wish to stay by the side of Lady Yu and company. Chapter 3601. Evil Intentions. Next, Lin Ling took out some treasures and asked someone to bury Xiao Ning's father. Then, he planned to leave the flower ocean boundary. However, just as they were about to leave the ancient city, a large number of experts surrounded them. There were so many of them that not even a drop of water could get through. It was rare to see so many experts moving together. Hence, many warriors in the city began to talk about it. They were all curious about who had offended the powerful Yu family. A dense murderous aura also quietly spread out on the street. Although Lin Ling and the other two were surrounded, their expressions remained calm. On the other hand, Xiao Ning's face was filled with worry. However, although she did not know what had happened, she stubbornly refused to leave and continued to stand by Yu Yu's side. Your Excellency, why did you kidnap the eldest daughter of the Yu family? At this moment, an old man walked out with his hands behind his back. Yu family? Lin Ling couldn't help but come to a realization. He then laughed sarcastically. It seems that Brother Ling's guess was right. Yu Yu and the rest laughed sarcastically. They also saw Qing in the crowd. However, Qing was being held back by someone. It seemed that she was helpless about this matter. If I said that I didn't, would you believe me? Lin Ling said calmly. Are you still trying to deny it? The old man shouted coldly. He glared at Lin Ling and said, where did this junior come from? You have evil intentions. You must have a grudge against the Flying Dragon organization. Hence, you want to borrow the power of the Yu family to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization. The power of the Yu family? Lin Ling was stunned and couldn't help but laugh even louder. He did not know how the Yu family was powerful. Father, it's not like that. At this moment, Qing broke free from her restraints and shouted anxiously. Qing come back. However, the head of the Yu family caught her quickly. Qing could only look at Lin Ling and the other two apologetically. However, Lin Ling and the other two did not mind and smiled. Lin Ling's smile gradually turned into a mocking smile. Since he was bored, he might as well play with them. He said calmly, all right, I admit that it's the powerful Yu family. What does the Yu family plan to do now? Yes. Go and tell Lord Hei Long of the Flying Dragon organization that you are trying to frame the Yu family. The old man said coldly. Clarify. It seems that the Yu family is very afraid of the Flying Dragon organization. However, don't you think that the Yu family is very boring? I saved your young miss, so I will take responsibility for everything. If the Flying Dragon organization wants to find someone, they should be looking for us. Why is your Yu family running out? Is it to prove that the Yu family, the Flying Dragon organization? Is that why you want to distance yourself from me? Or is it both? You to me to you to you to the family to kill organization? The old man's to say you. Because this was indeed a combination of both. The Flying Dragon organization was too powerful. The Yu family did not want the Flying Dragon organization to misunderstand them. That was why they caught Lin Ling and asked him to clarify the matter. Of course, they also wanted to prove that they were powerful and that they were an ancient family. That was why they sent all of their experts. You have a sharp tongue. I think you just want to use the power of the Yu family to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization. That's why you put on this show. You kidnapped Qinger, and you let her go. You didn't kill anyone from the Flying Dragon organization. That's a good plan. But with me here, you won't get what you want. The old man shouted angrily as if he had seen through all of Lin Ling's tricks. This old man is really imaginative. Lin Ling could not help but admire him. Yu Yu and the rest giggled. They thought so too. Rumble. At this moment, dark clouds rolled in from the sky. Then, a terrifying airwave turned into a black ancient dragon. It hovered in the sky and shocked the whole city. Lord Black Dragon. Everyone in the city was shocked. Many of them had heard of this expert. It was said that he was an expert from the martial god realm. The faces of the Yu family's people changed drastically. Although they were the most powerful family, they always knew that the real expert was Lord Black Dragon. However, this expert liked to live in seclusion. That was why he rarely interfered with their affairs. Now that such an expert was on the move, something big was going to happen. The Yu family killed someone from the Flying Dragon organization? In the sky, a low and deep voice rang out, causing everyone to feel extremely stifled. Killed someone from the Flying Dragon organization? Who is so bold? Could it be the Yu family? Everyone in the city started to talk about it. The faces of the Yu family members changed greatly. They were wronged. They didn't even know who was in the Flying Dragon organization, and who was killed. As for Qing, she seemed to have thought of something. Her face changed even more. Tell me, who is it? Don't think that I don't know that the assassins of the Flying Dragon organization have some kind of relationship with each other. The beast-like voice was roaring in the sky. The Yu family members were silent. No one dared to speak. Rumble. At this moment, a powerful wave of air surged down. It was like a terrifying thunderbolt had struck down and landed among the experts of the Yu family. In just one move, the Yu family had lost a large number of people. The faces of the patriarch and the old man instantly turned incomparably pale. He was too strong. They were simply no match for him. I know, Lord Black Dragon. I know, it's them, it's them. Suddenly, the old man pointed at Lin Ling and the others as he spoke. Since it had come to this, they had to put the blame on Lin Ling and the others. It's you guys. The giant black dragon in the sky looked at Lin Ling and the other two with a ferocious aura. However, in the eyes of Lord Black Dragon, Lin Ling and the other two were very ordinary. He did not notice anything special about them. On the other hand, Lin Ling revealed a disdainful smile. How dare a little worm call himself Lord Black Dragon in front of him? Even Yu and the rest laughed in disdain. Of course, Lin Ling did not pay attention to Lord Black Dragon. Instead, he looked at the old man with disgust and said sarcastically, "You said before that I wanted to borrow the strength of the Yu family to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization. I want to ask, where is the strength of the Yu family?" His words were like a sharp sword that pierced deeply into the hearts of the Yu family members. Previously, they appeared arrogantly and domineeringly. They thought that Lin Ling had directed and acted out a show. His goal was to borrow the strength of the Yu family to take revenge. But now, where was the strength of the Yu family? In the face of Lord Black Dragon, the Yu family members were killed and injured in one move. They were begging for mercy. To be honest, if I really wanted to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization, unless I was blind, I wouldn't ask a bunch of bragging and cowardly people like you for help. Lin Ling said again. His words were like a loud slap that made the faces of the Yu family members burn. The old man was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Chapter 3602. Lord Black Dragon. Of course, this is only one of the reasons. Secondly, didn't your Yu family say that I directed and acted in a show? But now that the Flying Dragon organization is here, you are saying that I killed them? May I ask, did I direct and act in a show? Or did I really kill someone from the Flying Dragon organization? Lin Ling said again. Another resounding slap rang out. When it landed in the ears of every member of the Yu family, they nearly exploded from anger. Among the members of the Yu family, only Qing'er felt extremely carefree. She had already guessed that Lin Ling was the one who saved her and not the one who kidnapped her. Your Yu family is dirty, despicable, shameless, despicable. A family head can't even compare to a little girl. Shame on you. Lin Ling reprimanded the members of the Yu family when they were speechless from anger. You. Everyone from the Yu family stared at Lin Ling. If looks could kill, they would have cut Lin Ling into pieces. As for Xiao Ning, who was behind Lin Ling, she was shocked. She never expected Uncle Lin to be so powerful that he could intimidate so many experts. Are you afraid of him? For him, you kneeled down and begged for mercy. You even pushed everything to me? Lin Ling spoke again, his gaze fixed on the black dragon in the sky. I just want to know how you will feel when you realize that the demon king in your heart can't even withstand a single blow. With that said, Lin Ling's eyes moved as the spacetime divine steel descended from the sky. The terrifying suppression caused the entire Flower Sea realm to tremble. Everyone found it difficult to breathe as their faces were filled with shock. As for Lord Black Dragon in the sky, he never expected someone to be so strong. He roared and soared into the sky like a flying dragon. But soon, the ancient divine pagoda in the sky made him realize that the divine pagoda was not something he could resist. Lord Black Dragon roared angrily, "Ultimate desolate body?" There was no ultimate desolate body in the Flower Sea realm. Many people did not even know what the ultimate desolate body was. Only Lord Black Dragon knew because he came from the Flying Dragon organization. As for the members of the Yu family, their jaws dropped. Even an expert as strong as Lord Black Dragon was suppressed. "Who are you?" Lord Black Dragon roared at the sky, his entire body trembling from the pressure. He gritted his teeth and said, "If you dare to kill me, the Flying Dragon organization will not let you go. Just wait for the fury of the Flying Dragon organization. You will die without a burial ground. Perhaps, but you won't be able to see that day." Lin Ling shook his head. Flying Dragon Organization? He had seen a lot of Lin Ling. Using the Flying Dragon Organization to threaten Lin Ling was completely ineffective. Rumble. The ancient divine steel smashed down from the sky, completely suppressing Lord Black Dragon and smashing him into pieces. The whole city was shocked. The people of the Yu family trembled. Killed in one move? That young man was so strong. Everyone was in disbelief. They even felt that it was terrifying and like a dream. After all, everyone in the Flower Ocean realm knew of Lord Black Dragon's strength. Then, many people began to discuss. Previously, the Yu family said that the young man wanted to use the powerful Yu family to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization. But now, it seems that the young man is much stronger than the Yu family. He doesn't need the Yu family's strength at all. Don't the Yu family feel embarrassed saying such things? Ironically, the Yu family members were killed by Lord Black Dragon, but the one who saved them was that young man. But, that young man is so strong. He killed Lord Black Dragon with one giant pagoda. I wonder what cultivation realm he is in. The people of the Yu family were so embarrassed that they wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. How can he be so strong? The Yu family elder's face darkened. He thought that Lin Ling wanted to kill him with a borrowed knife. But in the end, it was his own wishful thinking. Now, Lin Ling embarrassed him in front of the whole city. This made him angry. When he looked at Qing and the Yu family leader, they were also shocked. Especially Qing she was sure that the young man was her savior. This person is really amazing. The Yu family leader mumbled to himself. Second brother, you're too short-sighted. But at this time, the Yu family elder said coldly. Big brother, what do you mean? The Yu family leader was confused. Although this young man is strong, he killed Master He Long. If Master He Long was alone, we wouldn't care about this young man's rudeness. However, Master He Long has the Flying Dragon organization behind him, so this matter isn't that simple. The old man said seriously. His eyes were shining and he seemed to be looking into the distance. After he said that, the Yu family leader's face changed slightly. Qing listened to their conversation and frowned. Uncle said that the Yu family wouldn't care about their savior's rudeness. But, who in the Yu family could be their savior's opponent? When Lord Black Dragon killed the Yu family members, no one in the Yu family dared to stand up for him. They only begged for mercy. So, what right did the Yu family have to say such words? They even spoke in a superior tone as if the young man was a peasant. Big brother, what do you think we should do? The Yu family leader asked. The old man from the Yu family looked at Lin Ling from afar and said indifferently, Lord Black Dragon is an 8-kill expert of the Flying Dragon organization. He is not to be underestimated. Once he dies, the Flying Dragon organization will not let this matter rest. I fear that they will vent their anger on us. Therefore, this young man must go to the Flying Dragon organization and tell them that this matter has nothing to do with our Yu family. Okay. The Yu family leader nodded and looked at Lin Ling. He said, my friend, do you know that you've made a big mistake? Now, you'd better go to the Flying Dragon organization and apologize to them personally. Also, tell them that this has nothing to do with us. Lin Ling was walking towards Yu Yu and the rest. After hearing what the Yu family leader said, he looked at the Yu family leader strangely and asked, "Are you talking to me? Who else could it be? You'd better go immediately. Otherwise, if the Flying Dragon organization gets angry, who's going to bear their anger?" The Yu family leader frowned. This time, Lin Ling laughed and shook his head. His laughter was filled with ridicule. Yu Yu and the rest laughed as well. This was the first time they saw such a foolish person. Of course, the Flying Dragon organization wasn't to be trifled with. However, were they easy to be trifled with? You guys really have the life of a dog. When Lord Black Dragon killed your people, none of you dared to say anything. Instead, I killed Lord Black Dragon and you want me to apologize? After laughing, Lin Ling couldn't help but mock. Ignorant kid, you killed Lord Black Dragon. That's your business. However, you've implicated the Yu family. If the Flying Dragon organization starts a massacre, will you stop them? Will you save us? This time, the old man from the Yu family spoke as well. When Qing heard their words, she felt disgusted. Chapter 3603. But Lin Ling, the son of the devil? Haha. Lin Ling laughed again. You said it yourself. I killed Master Black Dragon. That's my business. Since it's my business, then it's none of your business. You are unreasonable. Hearing this, the elder from the Yu family was furious. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the crowd in the distance also began to discuss spiritedly. The Yu family wanted to distance themselves from this matter, so they wanted the young man to apologize to the Flying Dragon organization. However, since they wanted to distance themselves from this matter, why should the young man give face to the Yu family? Now, the Yu family saw that the young man did not give face to them and was angry. It was as if they were unreasonable if they did not cooperate with them. In fact, the Yu family was the unreasonable one. If that's the case, then don't blame me for being rude. Capture him. If you can't capture him alive, then a dead body will do. The elder from the Yu family felt humiliated as he was stared at by so many people. He roared angrily. How dare you? How dare you not listen to the Yu family? Hearing the elder's order, the Yu family's experts began to move. Each of them was filled with murderous intent. Perhaps, they had been dominating the area for too long and had forgotten that Lin Ling could kill Master Black Dragon. How could he be afraid of them? You must have a death wish. Looking at the group of people rushing towards him, Lin Ling shook his head. The mockery in his eyes disappeared and was replaced with coldness. At first, Lin Ling was not angry when he was wronged by the Yu family. Instead, he had a mocking attitude. However, he was now disgusted by the Yu family. Get out of my way. Lin Ling did not need to do anything. He only needed to look at them. The Eye of Chaos. A terrifying murderous aura surged towards them like a tidal wave. Rumble. All the Yu family's experts lost consciousness as if they were struck by lightning. Who else wants to capture me? You? Or you? Lin Ling stood with his hands behind his back. Like a god, he looked at the Yu family calmly. If it weren't for the fact that the Yu family were too weak, and if it weren't for Qing, he would have killed those experts with one strike. You? Or you? The entire sky was filled with Lin Ling's questions. As for the Yu family, no one dared to speak. You are too bold. When the Yu family elder saw that so many people from the Yu family were injured, he roared in anger. So what if I'm bold? What can an ant like you do to me? Lin Ling laughed mockingly. You. The elder of the Yu family was so angry that he almost spat out blood. He took a step forward and was about to attack. You overestimate yourself. Lin Ling shouted coldly. The Eye of Primal Chaos rushed forward. How could the old man of the Yu family block it? Puff. The old man from the Yu family spat out a mouthful of blood. He had only taken one step and he no longer had the strength to resist. Weak. Lin Ling continued to look down at the old man and spat out a single word in disdain. This single word made the old man from the Yu family spit out another mouthful of blood. He was filled with hatred, anger, and indignation. How dare you hurt my brother? At this moment, the head of the Yu family shouted angrily. The same goes for you. To me, you are just an ant. Lin Ling looked at the head of the Yu family and a murderous aura filled the air. Puff. The head of the Yu family also spat out a mouthful of blood. He flew backward and crashed onto the ground. The two of them could not withstand Lin Ling's gaze. Many martial artists in the city shook their heads. The two experts of the Yu family could not withstand Lin Ling's gaze at all. How dare they ask Lin Ling to apologize? How ironic. Who killed He Long? However, at this moment, the sky was filled with murderous aura. Almost 10,000 people appeared in the sky like ghosts and sealed off the entire city. It was even possible that they had sealed off the entire world. The 10,000 people were silent. However, the murderous aura from them was so dense that it made people feel as if they had met the Grim Reaper. Moreover, it was 10,000 Grim Reapers. The Flying Dragon Organization. The legendary assassin organization. Oh my God, so many people are here. They are here for Lord He Long. Many people started to guess. They looked at Lin Ling quietly. They knew that Lin Ling was dead meat. Lin Ling could defeat one assassin, but could he defeat 10,000 assassins? On the ground, the old man from the Yu family was stunned at first. Then, he laughed heartily. Now, he wanted to see Lin Ling die with his own eyes and let Lin Ling know the consequences of being arrogant. He killed He Long. The old man from the Yu family shouted and pointed at Lin Ling. At this moment, the 10,000 assassins all looked at Lin Ling. The murderous aura that was formed by their murderous aura was almost materialized. At this moment, more people thought that Lin Ling was not a match for these assassins. Not at all. However, Lin Ling smiled faintly. Flying Dragon Organization, it is time to end the grudge between us. As soon as he said that, the entire city fell silent. No one expected Lin Ling to be so arrogant when he was about to die. Haha. The old man from the Yu family could not help but laugh excitedly. At this moment, the 10,000 assassins also revealed their murderous aura. However, at this moment, an anxious voice suddenly sounded. Are you the son of devil, Lin Ling? Then, an old man walked out from the crowd. When the assassins saw him, they immediately took a step back. This old man was an expert who had killed 13 people. His status was higher than theirs. I am Lin Ling. Do you have a problem with that? Lin Ling looked at the old man. Finally, he saw a strong expert. Unfortunately, he was only at the later stage of the Sage Realm. This old man was only at the Sage Realm. This showed how weak the other assassins were. Of course, to the Yu family, these assassins were powerful experts. You are indeed Lin Ling. When he heard Lin Ling's words, the old man's expression changed drastically. He had received a secret order from the Flying Dragon Organization. It said that Black Dragon of the Flying Dragon Organization had died. They were on their way to the Blackstone Empire, so they came to take a look. Originally, they wanted to start a massacre. However, at this crucial moment, the old man saw a familiar face. In the end, he confirmed that the young man was actually Lin Ling. Lin Ling. The nightmare of all the major forces in the 9 prefectures. How could he resist him? Even if all the assassins were killed, they would not be able to touch a single hair on Lin Ling's head. Moreover, he had also heard that Lin Ling had almost uprooted the godly escort mansion. If those old monsters had not begged for mercy, the godly escort mansion would no longer exist in the 9 prefectures. As for the Fu Hang Manor, he had heard that in order to appease Lin Ling, they had agreed to any of Lin Ling's conditions. Therefore, the god of assassins of the Flying Dragon organization had also told them that if they met Lin Ling, ordinary assassins were not a match for Lin Ling. On the contrary, if they angered Lin Ling, it would lead to a battle between Lin Ling and the Flying Dragon organization. This would be even more disadvantageous for the Flying Dragon organization. This was an order personally issued by the god of assassins. No one in the Flying Dragon organization dared to disobey. Oh my god, I almost attacked Lin Ling. Chapter 3604. Don't be calculative. Slap. Thinking of this, the old man took the initiative to give himself a vicious slap. It was extremely powerful. A tooth flew from the sky to the ground like a kite with a broken string. I deserve to die. I didn't know it was Sir Lin Ling. I hope Sir Lin Ling won't be calculative. After slapping himself, the old man quickly bowed and said. Then, he slapped himself again. Why are you in a daze? Apologize. Then, the old man looked at the 10,000 assassins and roared. The assassins were stunned. They didn't know what was going on. However, the old man's status was higher than theirs, so they could only do as he said. Slap. 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 The crisp sound of slapping echoed in the sky. Everyone on the ground was dumbfounded. Especially the people from the Yu family. They all widened their eyes in disbelief. Did I see a ghost? The old man from the Yu family muttered to himself. After saying that, he slapped himself hard. However, the result was that this slap was very painful. This also meant that he wasn't dreaming. However, 10,000 assassins slapped his own face and apologized. This was too fake. One had to know that these assassins were more powerful than Sir Black Dragon. Sir Lin Ling, what do you think about this? After slapping himself, the old assassin looked at Lin Ling and said. His eyes were filled with fear. He was afraid that Lin Ling would start a massacre. Lin Ling's lips curled into a smile. This assassin was smart. If these assassins dared to make a move before, Lin Ling could finish them off in less than half an hour. Let's forget about this. However, there won't be a next time. Although Lin Ling had a grudge against the Flying Dragon organization, he wanted to fight the top assassins of the Flying Dragon organization, not these small fries. Moreover, he didn't have time to waste on these small fries. Hearing his words, everyone from the Flying Dragon organization heaved a sigh of relief. Alright, if you don't want to fight, I'll take my leave first. Then, Lin Ling walked towards Yu Yu and the rest. Don't fight, absolutely don't fight. Take care, Lord Lin Ling. The old man bowed again. Those who did not know him would think that Lin Ling was the expert of the Flying Dragon organization. All the assassins of the Flying Dragon organization respectfully welcomed Lin Ling's departure. This made the people of the Yu family feel like they were dreaming. Previously, the Yu family had asked Lin Ling to go to the Flying Dragon organization to apologize. Now that the Flying Dragon organization had come, what was the use? Lin Ling didn't need to apologize at all. On the contrary, the Flying Dragon organization had to bow and apologize like a lapdog. Who can tell me what happened? After Lin Ling gradually disappeared, the old man's temperament finally changed. He became extremely cold and indifferent as he looked at the crowd on the ground. Well, actually, it's nothing much. If Senior has something to do, then please take your leave first. Someone said with a chuckle. Perhaps he thought that the old man was easy to talk to because he had nodded and bowed before him. However, he had forgotten that this kind of easiness depended on the person. Lin Ling had the qualifications to make the assassins bow, but the rest of the people here didn't. If you don't speak, then die. The old man shouted coldly. He didn't seem to have done anything, but on the ground, dozens of lives were taken in an instant. Only then did the people react. It turned out that different people received different treatment. To these assassins, they were actually ants. Kill them all. The old man no longer bowed and bowed like before. He was a living god of death. The assassins immediately pounced and killed a large number of martial artists in a single breath. Blood flowed like a river. I'll talk. Many of the martial artists were afraid and immediately recounted what had happened. The assassins also stopped their attacks and quietly listened. But with every word they heard, their hearts began to violently jump. This Yu family was really bold. They actually made Lin Ling come to the Flying Dragon organization to apologize. Damn it, were their heads kicked by a donkey? Or were they trying to frame the Flying Dragon organization? Many assassins couldn't help but shake their heads. No wonder Senior Lin Ling left directly. It seemed that Senior Lin Ling didn't even bother to make a move against these ignorant ants. You dare to order Senior Lin Ling around? What a joke, what a joke. Let me tell you, Senior Lin Ling's achievements in the 9 prefectures is something you can't hope to achieve in your lifetime. Sigh, I don't even bother to explain it to you ants. Everyone, listen up, kill everyone from the Yu family. The old man laughed mockingly and ordered the assassins to charge at the Yu family. Ah, no. Spare us, spare us. Why did the Flying Dragon organization bow to that young man, but kill us all? Could it be that the young man's background is bigger than the Flying Dragon organization? The Yu family finally knew the taste of regret. The old man from the Yu family trembled. Thinking back to everything that happened, he wanted to slap himself 3 times. Even the Flying Dragon organization was afraid of that young man. This meant that the young man was definitely a big shot in the martial god world, a true expert. However, he thought that the young man wanted to use the Yu family's strength to take revenge on the Flying Dragon organization. He thought that as long as he forced Lin Ling to apologize, the Yu family would be safe and sound. However, the result told him that the young man was on a completely different level from what he thought. While he was thinking, a dagger suddenly came from the void and cut the old man's neck. The old man died with his eyes wide open. His decision had caused the Yu family to die. The warriors in the distance trembled in fear. They didn't expect that the Yu family's decision would cause the destruction of a family with 10,000 years of history. However, they didn't feel that the Yu family was pitiful. Instead, they felt that the Yu family deserved it. Don't kill anymore. At this time, Qing rushed over and stood in front of the Yu family. The Yu family patriarch cried out in pain, Qing don't. At this moment, the Yu family patriarch finally realized that he was wrong, very wrong. He didn't hate the mysterious young man at all because he knew that if the young man wanted to kill them, the Flying Dragon organization wouldn't even have a chance to do so. The young man was more than enough to wipe out the Yu family. The young man didn't do anything because he didn't want to. Or because he wanted to save face for Qing. However, the assassins of the Flying Dragon organization didn't care about Qing at all. In their eyes, there were only 2 kinds of people, the living and the dead. Therefore, their killing intent was locked onto Qing. I saved her not long ago. If you kill her, won't my efforts be in vain? At this time, a calm voice suddenly sounded. All the assassins were stunned. The old man's expression changed drastically. Although Lin Ling had left, he still seemed to be paying attention to this place. Get lost. He roared, then shot forward and kicked away the assassin who was pouncing on Qing. He knew that if the woman was killed, Lin Ling would definitely come back. Then, all the assassins would die here. Speaking of which, he was quite depressed. Chapter 3605. In the Blackstone Empire. Thank you, sir, for your help. The assassin who was kicked away by the old man said gratefully. He had almost committed a grave mistake. The old man waved his hand and looked at the stubborn Qing. In the end, he said, you're lucky that the big shot stepped in for you. Your family has escaped this calamity. Let's go. The assassins left with the old man. Blood flowed like a river on the ground. However, the people were upset because the Yu family had suffered great losses. If it wasn't for Qing, they would have been uprooted. Qing, I didn't expect you to save the Yu family in the end. The Yu family head looked at his daughter and sighed in his heart. At this moment, Lin Ling had left the Sea of Flowers boundary with Yu Yu and the rest. Lin Ling covered Xiao Ning with his boundary essence so that she would be safe and sound. However, the little girl's face was filled with various emotions. She was excited and shocked. She was excited because she could fly and she had arrived at the starry sky world. She was excited because this was the first time she had seen the starry sky world. It was beautiful. She was shocked because Uncle Lin was so powerful. Even the Yu family was no match for him. She was glad that she had persevered. If she had followed the young master of the Yu family, she would have been an ordinary person for the rest of her life. Xiao Ning, how do you feel? Yu Yu and Xian Yuan Gu looked at Xiao Ning with concern. Thank you, Auntie Yu Yu and Auntie Gu. Xiao Ning is fine. Xiao Ning quickly bowed and said with great respect. You child, how many times have I told you? We are a family, not a servant. Yu Yu and the rest said helplessly. Lin Ling smiled. He had used his boundary essence to protect Xiao Ning. He knew that Xiao Ning would be fine. Brother Ling, why didn't you kill those assassins from the Flying Dragon organization? Suddenly, Yu Yu looked at Lin Ling. She also knew that Lin Ling had a deep grudge with the Flying Dragon organization, so she asked curiously. Those assassins are just small fries. The true expert of the Flying Dragon organization is the god of assassins. Moreover, they've all gathered in the Darkstone Empire at this moment. I presume they've probably encountered some sort of precious treasure. So if I kill those assassins, it would alert the enemy. Lin Ling said with a smile. So that's how it is. Yu Yu and the others nodded in understanding. On the other hand, Lin Ling gazed at Little Ning and said, Little Ning, your natural talent isn't weak. Once we return to the final world, I'll get someone to guide you. At that time, your strength will advance by leaps and bounds as well. When Xiao Ning suddenly heard Lin Ling talking to her, her heart immediately raced. She hurriedly saluted and nodded. Seeing this, Yu Yu and the others secretly laughed. They guessed in their hearts that this little girl probably liked Big Brother Ling. This was normal. After all, every young girl in her prime had a hero's dream. Lin Ling, whether it was strength, appearance, or temperament, all met the requirements. He was a true hero who could support heaven and earth. The few of them traveled through the void. Not long after, they finally arrived at the Blackstone Empire. This realm was even larger than the Sea of Flowers realm. The ground was filled with pitch-black rocks. At a glance, it was boundless. At the same time, an ancient aura spread out from it. This realm is not simple. Lin Ling floated in the sky and muttered to himself. Then, he led Yu Yu and the others forward. The Blackstone Empire was extremely vast. After walking for half a day, they did not see a single person. The ground was ancient and lonely. The pitch-black rocks made one feel depressed. The vice principal said that this mission will be carried out by the 10 great academies, and I'm just going through the motions. However, so far, I haven't seen any experts from the other academies. Lin Ling looked into the distance and frowned. However, at this moment, his eyes flashed. A familiar aura floated from the distance. Although it was dim, Lin Ling's soul power increased greatly. He instantly sensed it. Could it be that the so-called mutated warriors are actually the world will? Lin Ling had seen this aura before. It was the world will. Follow me. Lin Ling increased his speed and shot forward. Yu Yu and the others quickly followed behind. Not long after, under an ancient black mountain, Lin Ling saw more than 10 experts in long robes. They were besieging a monster. This monster was about 20 meters tall. It was extremely tall and sturdy. Its body was pitch black and could explode with great power. However, the two sides seemed to have been fighting for a long time, so they were exhausted. Moreover, there were a few corpses on the ground. They must have been killed by the monster. Roar. At this moment, the monster suddenly roared into the sky. Endless black gas filled the air, causing the monster to suddenly become larger. It held two huge hammers in its hands. With a sudden smash, the sky fell and the earth cracked. This smash also caused many experts to vomit blood. The situation suddenly became dangerous. When Lin Ling saw this, the dragon bow quietly appeared in his hand. He quickly pulled it out. 1,000 Buddhas greeting. Countless dragon gods' arrows shot towards the monster, and shot towards the monster's forehead. Puff! This monster was amazing. It was like a hairless bear king. After being shot between the eyebrows by an arrow, it was safe and sound. Instead, it became even crazier. However, Lin Ling's 1,000 Buddhas greeting was not just a mere arrow. If one arrow could not penetrate it, so what if there were 10,000 arrows? Swoosh! Swoosh! A dense barrage of dragon god arrows shot out and finally blasted the monster alive, leaving behind a black rock that was as thick as a finger. It was sucked into Lin Ling's right hand and fell into his hand. Dead? The experts around were stunned at first. Then, their faces instantly turned ugly. They had almost killed the monster, but someone suddenly ran out and interrupted them and snatched their prey. One had to know that the mission assigned to them by the academy was to kill these strange warriors. The monster looked terrifying, but in fact, it was transformed from a human. A strange force had entered its body and caused this change. Who are you? How dare you snatch our prey? Do you want to die? A moment later, a young man with long hair shouted angrily at Lin Ling, "What a joke! Is your name written on the head of the prey? Or has the prey been killed by you? Since there is no prey, then the capable will get it." Lin Ling also realized that his mission was to kill these monsters. As long as he killed 10 of them, he could complete the mission assigned by the academy. Bullshit. If we hadn't been fighting with that monster for so long, do you think you would have a chance? Damn it, tell me your name. I want to see which academy you are from. The young man from before gritted his teeth and cursed. Watch your mouth. Lin Ling frowned and said coldly, although you've been fighting with the monster for a long time, you didn't manage to kill it. Instead, I saved some of you. It's fine if you don't thank me, but you're being rude? You're fucking talking nonsense. All of them were furious when they heard this. I remember now. He is the son of Demon Lin Ling, the guy who created the record in the ethereal tower. Chapter 3606. Disdain. What? He's Lin Ling? I heard that this guy isn't weak at all. He's just someone with an undeserved reputation. He can only be proud in the god's second hall, but he's nothing in the god's third hall. The experts started to discuss among themselves, and some of them were solemn. Some of them were disdainful. It was obvious that these experts were from the 36 academies. There were experts from the god's second hall, god's first hall, and god's third hall. As for Lin Ling, he was recognized as an expert of the god's third hall, so many of them were naturally afraid of him. Lin Ling, I didn't expect you to still be a saint after not seeing you for so long. However, we're experts from the Divine Maple Academy. You're not giving the Divine Maple Academy any face by snatching our spoils. At this moment, a handsome man walked out indifferently. Peng Yu. The experts from the Divine Maple Academy's God's Third Hall were recorded on the Gods list. It could be said that those who could enter the Gods list were stronger than ordinary God's Third Hall experts. Moreover, this person was a second talisman god paladin. Divine Paladin, this was a title of honor and pride. It not only represented strength but also identity. Then what do you want? Lin Ling looked at him indifferently. Among this group of people, this man could be considered the strongest. Very simple. Let's fight. If you win, the spoils will belong to you. If I win, the spoils will belong to me. How about it? Peng Yu said indifferently. There was a jade-like light on the surface of his body, and there was a colorful light behind him. The combination of the two lights gave off an extremely mysterious feeling. Sure, let's decide the victor within the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Hearing this, Lin Ling nodded and slowly pulled out the tyrannical song on his back. Shameless boasting. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the loser will definitely be you. Peng Yu was stunned, and he immediately became unhappy. It was undeniable that Lin Ling did have some ability to break the first-place record in the God's Tower. However, Lin Ling was ultimately not an expert on the God's list, and he was a genuine expert on the God's list. However, Lin Ling wanted to decide the victor within the time it takes for an incense stick to burn? That was a dream. Cut the crap, take this. Lin Ling couldn't be bothered to speak any more nonsense. The Tyrant Song sword seemed to have arrived from the era of the gods. It cut through the sky and slashed towards Peng Yu. On the horizon, a dazzling beam of light arrived like a shooting star. Titan. When he saw this, Peng Yu shouted in a low voice as well, and then a wisp of an ancient aura erupted from him like a god and a demon. Rumble. An enormous divine python shot into the sky from behind Peng Yu. This divine python was like an ancient tree that towered into the sky, and its body was covered in multicolored scales. Moreover, it had a blood-red python crown on its head. Divine Titan Snake. The experts of the Divine Maple Academy all cried out in alarm. This is a 5th grade ultimate desolate body. That's not all. It said that Brother Pang's ultimate desolate body is about to be upgraded, so it should be at the peak of grade 5. Lin Ling is definitely going to be defeated. At that time, we'll be able to brag that Lin Ling from the Transcendence Tower was defeated by an expert from the Divine Maple Academy. Many people roared in excitement. Rumble. At that moment, Lin Ling slashed down with his sword. However, a divine python immediately rushed out from the ground and blocked Lin Ling's sword. This talent is quite impressive. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. At the same time, he recalled a classic saying, a greedy snake swallows an elephant. This meant that the python had the strength to swallow an elephant. However, it was too greedy and failed. As for the divine python in front of him, it was definitely a seed of gods from the era of gods. That's all you've got. At that moment, Peng Yu raised his head and looked at Lin Ling with disdain. However, he was also extremely shocked. Lin Ling was only at the Sage Realm, but his strength was beyond imagination. This strength was also very strange. Not only did his Jia Yuan not seem to be at the Sage Realm, it even had an additional physical strength. It was no wonder that Lin Ling's name could shake the 36 academies. He was indeed extraordinary. Is that so? Lin Ling muttered to himself. With a twitch of his brows, an ancient divine monument came crashing down from the sky. Rumble. Peng Yu stomped his feet, causing the ground to crack. However, he also grinned and said, "That's all you've got." Is that so? Lin Ling still said the same thing. He was not moved at all and did not show any anger. However, the sword in his hand suddenly surged with murderous intent. Demonic sword. It gradually increased from 10% to 30%. Peng Yu's expression changed drastically. Lin Ling had the power of an ancestor and was so powerful? Do you still dare to say that? Lin Ling held the tyrannical song sword in his hand and maintained his slashing posture. However, he also said sarcastically. This sentence was full of ridicule, causing Peng Yu to fly into a rage out of humiliation. That's all you've got. Peng Yu also roared and unleashed his full strength. The Titan Divine Python behind him made a strange sound. Then, a large number of pythons appeared. They were densely packed and covered the entire ground. It made one's scalp tingle. These pythons swam out and kept intertwining, forming a huge python pillar. It surged into the sky in an attempt to block Lin Ling's sword. Rumble. The Blackstone Empire was also in a frenzy at this moment. What a terrifying power. The Divine Maple Academy's experts all retreated, their faces full of admiration. It seems that you've only got this much. However, Lin Ling's expression still did not change when such a huge power appeared. The tyrannical song sword in his hands suddenly became terrifying. Endless murderous intent spread and rushed toward the pythons on the ground. Those pythons were hit by the murderous intent and immediately became motionless like stone statues. At the same time, Lin Ling's demonic sword had also increased to 40%, causing Peng Yu to sink. His eyes instantly turned red as he tried to block Lin Ling's sword, but it was useless. Big brother Pang, you can do it. This one-sided battle undoubtedly caused the Divine Maple Academy's experts to shout. They did not want Peng Yu to lose. It would be a great humiliation for the Divine Maple Academy. However, was shouting useful? Eye of Chaos. At this moment, Lin Ling used another technique. His eyes changed. They were ancient, ferocious, and terrifying. The moment these eyes appeared, a formless and colorless ferocious aura arrived, causing all the pythons on the ground to tremble and flee through the cracks in the ground. As for Peng Yu, his eyes turned blank. His heart of martial arts was attacked by the ferocious aura. For a moment, he began to doubt himself. However, it was not only him. Even the experts not far away were affected. Rumble. Peng Yu's aura weakened, and Lin Ling's sword slashed down as if it could split the heavens and earth. Swoosh. The largest Titan divine python was cut in half by the sword. When the sword slashed the ground, the entire ground cracked open. Even the black rocks could not block Lin Ling's sword. As for Peng Yu, he was slashed to the ground. A sword scar appeared on his cheek, and blood slowly flowed out. However, Lin Ling did not kill him. Instead, he looked at him with disdain. I've lost. Peng Yu looked blankly at the man floating in the sky. His confidence in himself was shaken again. What's your rank on the divine list stairway to heaven? In the sky, Lin Ling looked down at him indifferently. Number 467. Peng Yu weakly replied. No wonder you're so weak. Chapter 3607. Kill stealing. Wait, how did you defeat me? Moreover, you defeated me, why aren't you happy at all? You have to know that you defeated an expert on the god list. Seeing Lin Ling calmly leave, Peng Yu roared in disbelief. Although Lin Ling broke the record of the God's Tower, from the perspective of the 36 academies, he is only an expert of the third hall. He can't even be counted as an expert on the God list, let alone God's Paladin. But now, Lin Ling defeated him, which means that Lin Ling is also a God's Paladin and can enter the God list. However, with such an honor, Lin Ling doesn't have the slightest bit of pride. A long time ago, I was able to defeat an expert on the God list. Lin Ling's voice finally came from the distance. His words made Peng Yu's body tremble. He remembered everything he knew about Lin Ling. Snow Wind Academy's newcomer king. Snow Wind Academy's first hall. In the 36 academies, he was the first sage to pass the God's trial and even broke the record of the God's Tower. This kind of rising star is also someone that every third hall's expert wants to defeat because they can use this opportunity to shake the world. But after this battle, Peng Yu discovered that the gap between him and Lin Ling is too big. Because a long time ago, Lin Ling was able to defeat an expert like Peng Yu. Just how strong is he? Peng Yu shook his head. He looked at Lin Ling, who left in a carefree manner, and knew that Lin Ling didn't hurt him because he disdained to do so. The surrounding experts of the Divine Maple Academy were also shocked. They never thought that Lin Ling would be so strong. This guy is really abnormal. He said that he would finish the battle in an incense stick's worth of time, but it seems like he just became an expert of the third hall. Yes, I have been an expert of the third hall for 300 years, but I still can't enter the god list. But he just entered the third hall's circle and he can already defeat an expert on the god list. It's too enviable. Maybe this guy was already so powerful when he was in the Shani Hall. Following that, those experts discussed animatedly, extremely depressed. They could only let Lin Ling snatch the spoils of war. In fact, Lin Ling really disdained to make a move against Pang Yu. He was only interested in people like Duan Wuzhan and Duan Wuhan. After that, Lin Ling casually walked around the Blackstone Empire. At the same time, he was constantly hunting down mutant martial artists. 2 of them. 3 venerables. 5 of them. Lin Ling was getting closer and closer to completing the mission. It had to be said that this mission was really simple. Lin Ling was just going through the motions. However, Lin Ling's luck seemed to be pretty good when he found the 10th variant race martial artist. Because he had met someone from the Flying Dragon organization. These people were also besieging a mutated warrior. However, after the mutated warrior was absorbed by the world's will, it transformed into a massive ancient tree. Powerful energy spewed out from the ancient tree, allowing it to resist the ultimate desolate body of an expert. Kill him. We must get the map. The Lord said that the map hid a warrior with wood elemental talent. It should be him. Boss Gajian, our luck is pretty good. A large number of excited voices came from the crowd. Leading them was a handsome youth. He held a white jade wine flask in his hand as he casually drank from it. The key is mine. After drinking a mouthful, the youth lazily said. He appeared extremely confident. The experts in the surroundings were not weak. After crazily attacking, the ancient tree's leaves also scattered. A large amount of World Will's power was disappearing. However, what was strange was that this World Will's power was actually green and no longer black. The last variant race martial artist. Furthermore, our luck is pretty good. We have met the Flying Dragon organization. It looks like we will have to kill Steel again. From afar, Lin Ling's lips curled into a sneer. He warned Yu Yu and company before shooting forward. As for Yu Yu and company, they laughed. During this period of time, Lin Ling seemed to have killed quite a number of kills. The others could only curse their bad luck when they met him. There are a total of 8 maps. Rather than calling it a map, it's better to call it a key. Those who possess the map can sit on the 8 Kings' throne and enter there. If I can obtain the treasure left behind by Godslayer, I can also become the next Godslayer. The youth who was drinking laughed out loud. He was extremely happy. Boss Shenjian, this is your lucky chance. The Flying Dragon organization's future belongs to you. A good start is half the battle. Now, all that's left is for Boss Gajian to obtain the map. The surrounding people immediately began to flatter him. This left Lin Ling speechless. Didn't they say that the Flying Dragon organization was made up of cold-blooded killers? How could there be such a retard? From the looks of it, regardless of the large faction, there would be differences in strength. Birds of a feather flock together. Perhaps those killers who were the least like killers would gather together. Brothers, don't worry, if I become the god of assassins, you can kill as many people as you want, I can satisfy you. The young man called Shenjian was still drinking, his face was red, he seemed to be even more excited. Sorry to interrupt, this variant warrior is mine. However, at this moment, Lin Ling's voice finally sounded, interrupting everyone's excitement. Next, a sword descended from the sky, revealing its sharpness, and cut the ancient tree in half. From the ancient tree, a dazzling golden key appeared. The key was about the size of a palm, and a large number of complicated runes were engraved on it. After Lin Ling glanced at it, he stretched out his left hand and sucked the key into his hand. Everyone was silent. All the killers looked at Lin Ling dumbfoundedly. Who the fuck are you? A moment later, the youth who was drinking roared angrily. You don't need to know who I am. You only need to know that you are very unlucky to have met me. Lin Ling smiled faintly. Fuck. Rebel. Rebel. Kill him. Kill him. How dare you steal our treasure? Kill him. The people around the youth reacted one by one, and their eyes instantly turned red with anger. However, as soon as Lin Ling moved, all the angry voices disappeared, because Lin Ling had already disappeared from where he was standing, and appeared in front of the young man in an instant. He said calmly, "Your wine seems to be quite good. Kill him." This caused the youth's pupils to constrict. What fast speed! The guy in front of him was definitely not ordinary. Tell me, where does the Flying Dragon organization want to go, and what do you want? Also, what is the use of this key? Kill him. Lin Ling shook the key in his hand. When the key appeared, everyone's eyes followed the key, and their bodies trembled with anger. That was because the Flying Dragon organization had asked them to look for a mutant martial artist with a key, and their luck was pretty good. They had almost gotten the key, but an arrogant person suddenly ran over. Not only did he steal the monster, he even stole the key. This was a cooked duck flying away. Bastard. Chapter 3608. Listen to the 8 gods' heavenly palace again. Especially the young man who was drinking, he was the most furious, because his chance to rise to the top had instantly disappeared, and he was forcefully stepped down from the clouds. Just as he was about to roar, a sword landed beside his neck, stopping him from doing anything else. Speak. If you don't, die. Lin Ling said indifferently. Big brother Shenjian, don't say it, we assassins are the most arrogant. The others immediately said angrily. This was too much. After snatching their treasures, they actually dared to threaten them. However, Lin Ling did not waste his breath. The sword lightly moved forward, cutting through the young man's skin. This sword also caused the young man to instantly surrender, his forehead covered in sweat as he shouted, 8 gods' heavenly palace, it's the 8 gods' heavenly palace, there are 8 keys, after gathering all of them, we can reach the 5th floor of the 8 gods' heavenly palace, and our Flying Dragon organization is here to enter the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Hearing that, Lin Ling laughed in disdain, and asked again, what treasure does the 8 gods' heavenly palace have that attracted your Flying Dragon organization? This. However, after feeling the cold air on his neck, he finally opened his mouth. The god-killing shield, the god-killing dagger, these are the divine tools left behind by the god-killing assassin. Our Flying Dragon organization's goal is these 2 treasures, and the god-killing assassin is the totem of the Flying Dragon organization, and is also the only god of assassins in the era of gods. In the Flying Dragon organization, whoever obtains the god-killing treasure will be the god of assassins of the Flying Dragon organization, and can summon the Flying Dragon organization. Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes lit up, so that's how it is. It seems that for these 2 treasures, even the god of assassins of the Flying Dragon organization has come. And to Lin Ling, this was undoubtedly a pleasant surprise. Very good, thank you for your cooperation. After obtaining the information he wanted, Lin Ling also planned to leave, but just as he took a step, his gaze landed on the wine pot in the young man's hand. This wine pot was somewhat extraordinary, it seemed to be a divine tool. What are you doing? Seeing Lin Ling staring at him with ill intentions, the young man quietly took a step back. Hee, it's a waste for you to keep this jug. Why don't you give it to me? Lin Ling was also a wine lover. When he smelled the aroma of the wine, he couldn't help himself. You stole the key, and now you dare to steal my wine jug. The young man roared angrily. He actually regarded the wine jug as more important than his own life, and began to fight Lin Ling with all his might. However, this was of no use at all. Lin Ling easily dealt with him and even trampled him under his feet. TSK, a divine barrier. Furthermore, it was forged with solemn Yi Xian mud, heavenly jewels, and the 7 saints' flame thunder fire. Furthermore, it probably took 10,000 years to forge. After checking the wine jug, Lin Ling couldn't help but be overjoyed. This was because this wine jug had a huge function, and that was to pour any water into it. After 2 hours, it would turn into fine wine. It was extremely convenient. Furthermore, if some heavenly treasures were added, the taste of the wine would be even better. This was simply an automatic winemaker. Moreover, not only was the winemaking speed fast, the wine that was brewed was also very old. It's mine. Lin Ling immediately put away the wine jug. You're dead meat. This wine jug belongs to the Emperor of Assassins of our Flying Dragon organization. He's just borrowing it. If you dare to take it away, even if you run to the ends of the earth, he'll catch you. That elder is famous for only recognizing the wine jug and not the person. On the ground, Shen Jian was so angry that his nose was crooked. Shut up, loser. Lin Ling knocked him out with one foot. Then, he strode into the sky and left with Yu and the others. Who is this person? How dare he provoke the Flying Dragon organization? Damn it. Not only did he steal the key, but he also stole the Emperor of Assassins' jade ice wine jug. He's dead meat. There's a barrier around the wine jug. If the Emperor of Assassins can find him through the wine jug, he's definitely dead meat. The assassins were angry, but they didn't dare to say anything. They could only whisper among themselves. Unfortunately, even if Lin Ling heard them, he didn't care at all. Moreover, Lin Ling also saw the barrier hidden in the wine jug and easily destroyed it. However, the barrier was carved on the inside of the wine jug. Therefore, even if it was destroyed, it would still be effective for a short period of time. It would allow the original owner to detect Lin Ling. Lin Ling didn't care about this. First, the Flying Dragon organization had tried to kill him many times. They were just collecting interest. Second, there weren't many people in the Flying Dragon organization who could kill him. 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. Then, Lin Ling looked at the golden key in his hand. His face revealed a look of nostalgia. Brother Lin Ling, it's the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace again. Yu naturally knew about the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. It was one of the 7 great forbidden lands in the 9 prefectures. It was also the only heavenly palace that no one had reached its peak. Yes. Lin Ling sighed. In his previous life, he had entered the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace many times, but he had only reached the 6th level. And in this life, Lin Ling had already ventured out twice. This would be the 3rd time. No matter what, he wouldn't miss it. The opening of the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace is always a sensational event. I'm afraid that this time is no exception. Let's go, Yu. We can't miss such a grand event. Lin Ling looked into the distance, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. Okay. Yu and Xian Yuangu looked at each other and nodded. On the other hand, Xiao Ning was a little confused. She didn't know anything about the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. However, she was getting more and more excited. Because following Lin Ling, she had seen many things that she would never have the chance to see in her entire life. Especially in the past. Every time she saw Lin Ling being provoked, she would tremble in fear. However, in the end, Lin Ling would crush his opponents every time. This made her admire him greatly. The key in Lin Ling's hand kept flashing, and it actually pointed out the direction. According to the young man, there were 8 keys. After collecting all the keys, the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace could be opened. This meant that if they followed the direction, they would definitely find the other 7 keys. At that moment, Lin Ling followed the direction of the keys. Along the way, he encountered more and more experts. Judging from their clothes, they seemed to be experts from various big academies. However, there were even more experts in the center. In an open-air ruin, a large number of people were sitting there. Many tables were set up, and on the tables were a large amount of delicious food. We're here. Lin Ling looked at the key in his hand and couldn't help but smile. Brother Ling, there seems to be a lot of experts over there. Xian Yuan Gu, immediately reminded him. Don't worry, we're not weak either. Lin Ling pinched Xian Yuan Gu's little face and smiled faintly. This made Xian Yuan Gu glare at him coquettishly and scold, "You're so annoying." Hee hee. At the side, Yu Yu immediately covered her mouth and laughed, while Xiao Ning's pretty face suddenly blushed. The few of them quickly landed on the ground and then walked toward the ruin. There were many experts from various academies around them. Some of them were also walking toward the ruin, while others were watching from afar. I heard that Princess Tian found a mystery realm. Currently, she's gathering experts there. Chapter 3609. Heroes Assembly. I heard it's the 8-God Celestial Palace. Unfortunately, the 8-God Celestial Palace isn't a place anyone can enter unless they're invited. The passers-by discussed animatedly, their eyes filled with envy. As experts of the Academy, they had naturally heard of the 8-God Celestial Palace. The palace left behind by the gods contained countless treasures. If one could obtain one, they would be able to soar to the heavens. However, the 8-God Celestial Palace was monopolized by experts, causing many people to only be able to watch and not enter. Only the truly famous experts would receive an invitation. Miao Shen's true inheritance. Brother Ling, Sister Ye Shui is also a true disciple of Miao Shen. I wonder if she knows this Princess Tian. Yu Yu immediately whispered upon hearing the voices around her. That's hard to say. After all, Miao Shen's true inheritance is also very big. Lin Ling shook his head and smiled, but what makes me curious is how many experts have gathered at the 8-God Celestial Palace this time. As they walked, they finally arrived at the entrance of the ruins. However, there were many guards here, and they were all experts of the Academy. To be able to summon experts of the Academy as guards, this also showed the prestige of the master. Who are you? Do you have an invitation? Those people immediately looked at Lin Ling expressionlessly. Invitation? Lin Ling frowned. He definitely didn't have such a thing. However, he had the key. If the master knew about this, he would definitely welcome him. My name is Lin Ling. Lin Ling immediately said. I don't know. Without the key, no one can enter the banquet. You guys can leave by yourselves. The few guards said nonchalantly, their faces expressionless as if Lin Ling and the others were mere ants. Snobs. Xian Yuan Gu instantly frowned and subconsciously cursed. Although these people were martial artists of the Academy, they weren't strong. Who gave them the courage? No invitation. Lin Ling, you're really unlucky. At this time, a loud laughter suddenly sounded, causing Lin Ling to turn around and see a familiar face. Wu Zun. Lin Ling did not expect that after the divine artifact competition ended, Wu Zun would actually come here too. Lin Ling, aren't you very powerful in the Heaven Sword City? Why was he not welcomed here? Wu Zun led several people over. When he saw Lin Ling, Wu Zun grew even more excited. Country bumpkin, this is Princess Tian's hero's feast. Hero. Do you know what a hero is? You don't seem to understand. You can only be a bear for the rest of your life. See? This is the invitation. It's made of black gold. Do you have it? You don't have it at all, and you still want to participate in the banquet? Dream on. Wu Zun said proudly as an invitation appeared in his hand. He had suffered too much humiliation at the hands of Lin Ling. This time, he would definitely seize the opportunity to release the unhappiness in his heart. Lin Ling could not help but shake his head. Wu Zun was already inferior to him in the Tongshan Tower, let alone now. He could not understand where this guy's confidence came from. Could it be that he had suffered too much, causing his heart to become twisted? You guys, why aren't you chasing him away? In the name of Princess Tian, kick him out. Kick all of you out. After feeling proud, Wu Zun said to the guards. Then, he naturally looked at Lin Ling proudly. However, when he saw Yu Yu and the rest, he became spirited. Of course, don't chase these beauties away. I can bring them along. Before he could finish speaking, a fist broke through the void, arriving at a speed faster than 500 worlds. It was Lin Ling. Bang! The fist hit Wu Zun's face, breaking his nose. Blood gushed out from his nose and teeth, causing him to bend over like a shrimp and squat on the ground. Lin Ling shook his head. When facing an idiot like Wu Zun, sometimes there was no need to talk nonsense. One could just directly attack. Bang! Then, Lin Ling stepped on Wu Zun's shoulder, forcing him to the ground, and said indifferently, "Aren't you very talkative? Now, say another one." Bang! This scene undoubtedly shocked many people. Who is that? How unlucky, to be trampled under someone's foot. Bang! It's Wu Zun. He's not weak, an expert who just entered the god list. Bang! Compared to Wu Zun, the one who stepped on him is more domineering. Bang! After being stepped on by Lin Ling, Wu Zun tried to resist and stand up several times, but his body was so heavy that any resistance was ineffective. This made him so angry that his nose was crooked. How many times had he been humiliated by Lin Ling? If he did not remember wrongly, this was the third time. What are you all standing there for? Our distinguished guest invited by Princess Tian is now being beaten up. Are you still not going to do anything? Bang! However, Wu Zun was not stupid. He knew that he was not Lin Ling's opponent, so he asked for help from others. The guards frowned. In fact, they also felt that Lin Ling was very arrogant. He stepped on people in front of the heroes' assembly. He did not put Princess Tian in his eyes at all. Moreover, the heroes' assembly had gathered experts from various academies. What qualifications did this youth have to be arrogant? Your Excellency, this is Princess Tian's private place. You are behaving atrociously here. Please come with us and release the person under your foot. One of them said indifferently. Private place? Lin Ling could not help but laugh. This Princess Tian really knew how to think. After all, everyone came to the Blackstone Empire at about the same time. Now, the Blackstone Empire had become Princess Tian's private place. What if I don't release him? What if I don't come with you? Lin Ling said indifferently. Then don't blame us for being impolite. Let me remind Your Excellency. As guards, we may not be the strongest. However, the heroes' assembly is full of experts. As the saying goes, when beating a dog, look at its master. The guard said again. His words carried a strong threat. What he meant was that Princess Tian and the experts of the heroes' assembly were not people you could provoke. You'd better listen to them obediently. You also know that you are dogs. Hearing this, Lin Ling smiled faintly. After he finished speaking, he kicked out. Lin Ling used a lot of strength in this kick. Boom! The guard immediately shot forward like a cannonball, smashing through many ruins. You! The remaining guards suddenly narrowed their eyes. You want to threaten me, Lin Ling? Why don't you look at your own abilities? Lin Ling waved his right hand heavily. His palm swept out like a dragon's claw, sweeping the remaining guards away. Then, Lin Ling kicked again. Wu Zun, who was under his foot, was kicked forward like trash. At the same time, he said indifferently, Wu Zun, you have repeatedly humiliated and provoked me. Do you really think I'm easy to bully? His leg was like the leg of a world-swallowing beast and the tail of a dragon god. It was not something that Wu Zun could block. However, when Wu Zun heard Lin Ling's words, he was so angry that he bit his teeth. If he had repeatedly provoked Lin Ling, Wu Zun would accept it. But repeatedly humiliating Lin Ling? Who was the one humiliating who? Chapter 36:10. 8 seats. Fuck, domineering. How domineering. Without an invitation token, he actually barged in. This fellow is too ferocious. However, who the hell is he? Isn't he a little too bold? This is truly a forceful barge. The surrounding people were given a fright as they watched Lin Ling enter the banquet. Rumble. At this moment, Wu Zun was being kicked forward by Lin Ling like a rubber ball. When he reached the banquet, he knocked over a large number of tables, affecting the eating of the experts. Finally, an expert snorted and kicked out, sending Wu Zun flying into the distance like trash. Poor Wu Zun. He was an expert in the ethereal tower's assessment, but in the banquet, he was as insignificant as an ant. The entire banquet fell silent. A frightening baleful aura stealthily permeated the air. All the experts in the banquet were looking at Lin Ling. And for these experts to be invited by Princess Tian, how weak could they be? It could be said that the people who appeared here all had the title of Sacred Knight of the Three Talisman Gods. They were the elites of the Three Divine Halls elites, much stronger than people like Wu Zun. And now, while they were eating, a domineering person had appeared. How could they not be angry? Seniors, he did not have an invitation token. He barged in. A distance away, a heavily injured guard crawled back and shouted with difficulty. Barged in? The experts were even more enraged. This person was looking down on them and Princess Tian. You, who are you? Finally, a man in silver armor stood up. His entire being was like a divine beast. His name was Hu Ho, an expert from the Holy Dragon Institute, one of the 36 colleges. He was a sacred knight of the Four Talisman Gods and was ranked 442 on the God ranking stairway to heaven. The 36 colleges gathered the strongest warriors of the 9 prefectures and the myriad worlds, but only 500 people were recorded on the God ranking. For him to be ranked 442, it was obvious how strong he was. As for Lin Ling, when he swept his gaze across the crowd, his soul force immediately sensed that these people were very strong. There were even some who had a grade 6 ultimate desolate body. There were even some who had a grade 7 ultimate desolate body. There was a domineering aura about them, as if they were kings and hegemons. They wanted to become the oldest deities. And when this aura rushed out, it caused Lin Ling's fighting spirit to boil. If he wanted revenge, if he wanted to reach the pinnacle of Huanyu, he would have to face these powerhouses. Lin Ling also had the heart of a powerhouse. At that moment, Lin Ling didn't waste any time. He held Yu Yu's hands and strode forward. What? Everyone instantly frowned. An arrogant junior had suddenly appeared, and he didn't even say a word when he saw them. Was this arrogant disdain to speak, or was he too timid to speak? However, on the surface, they all thought that Lin Ling was arrogant and disdainful to say it. Of course, there were also many powerhouses who sneered. This junior was dead meat. As for Lin Ling, he followed the chair and walked forward. At the front of the ruins, there were 8 stone tables. They were clearly different from the other tables. Furthermore, there were only a few stone tables that were empty. Looking at the other tables, even though they were overcrowded, no one sat at those stone tables. It could be seen that those stone tables weren't simple. However, Lin Ling strode forward and stopped at the rightmost stone table. Following that, he sat down. The moment he sat down, it was earth-shattering. Fuck. All sorts of voices rang out. Everyone's mouth was agape. That was because those 8 stone tables had already been reserved. Only those with great status and strength were qualified to sit there. However, Lin Ling sat down with his wife. He sat down without hesitation. Was this guy crazy? Bang! Finally, someone angrily slammed the table and stood up. His killing intent was surging. That was because Lin Ling had taken the seat of first seat. Wasn't this stepping on them all? That's Lin Ling. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out. The person who spoke was actually the most important person in the Tongshan Tower, Lord Long. No one had expected him to come as well. Even more unexpected was that he was the one standing among the crowd. Who's Lin Ling? Lord Long, speak. One of the experts shouted in a dignified manner. Lin Ling, the number one of the Tongshan Tower, the one who broke the record of the 10 ultimate martial gods, and the first saint to pass the 3 stages of the deity stage. Lord Long frowned as he looked at Lin Ling. In the past, he had lost to Lin Ling, so he worked hard to wash away that humiliation. However, after meeting him today, he realized that the gap between him and Lin Ling had not shortened. Instead, it had widened. In front of these experts, Lord Long could only stand, but Lin Ling dared to sit. This was the gap between them. Most importantly, Lin Ling was the first seat. Lin Ling? That guy from the Snow Wind Academy? The experts in the surroundings frowned at first, but gradually, they remembered. No wonder he was so arrogant. It turned out that he was the number one of the Tongshan Tower. However, this Lin Ling was too arrogant. Did he think that the number one of the Tongshan Tower was the number one of the Shinsan Hall? One had to know that there were 36 academies in the final world, and the number of experts in the Shinsan Hall was innumerable. There was also a divide between those who were on the god list and those who were not. Although Lin Ling was the number one of the Tongshan Tower, it only meant that he was slightly powerful. In terms of strength, he could not compare to the experts on the god list. Don't underestimate him. His strength is not weak. He can already enter the god list. At this time, a sinister voice suddenly rang out. If Lin Ling could see the person who spoke, he would naturally recognize him. This person was Huang Fuyao, the son of the Grand Tutor who had lost to Lin Ling in Emperor Miao's shrine. Huang Fuyao was also an expert on the god list. Naturally, he was qualified to participate in the Heroes' Assembly. Moreover, he was treated better than Lord Long. At least, he was given a seat. However, although Lord Long seemed to be praising Lin Ling, in reality, he had also made Lin Ling a thorn in his side. Sure enough, the crowd's gaze on Lin Ling became even more malicious. This Lin Ling, did he think that he could be so arrogant just because he had barely entered the god list? More and more people are coming. I, Wu Feiming, am here. At this time, a man with long silver hair strode in. He was wearing beast skin and bones, and his every movement carried the aura of the netherworld. Wu Feiming. Everyone's eyes flickered. This was a top expert. The newcomer walked slowly and sat down not far away from Lin Ling. So far, out of the 8 chief seats, 4 of them had already been taken. They were Lin Ling, Wu Feiming, an old man, and a man in golden armor. Wu Feiming, the expert of the land of eternal rest of the 9 prefectures 10 banes, I didn't expect you to be here. At this time, the man in golden armor smiled faintly. What? You're not allowed to. The silver-haired man sneered coldly. There's nothing wrong with that. You have the right to do so. Moreover, you also have the key, so I have no right to criticize you. The man in golden armor smiled. Then, he looked at the old man beside him and explained, this is the expert of the Duan family. His name is Duan Feihong, and he is here on behalf of the Duan family. The old man nodded at the man in golden armor. And I am Wangu Qianji, the number 1 genius of the number 1 family in Miao Prefecture. The man in golden armor introduced himself. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.